It's only been a month since we last streamed Healing Rifts. Totally not my fault.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
On the
There we
upside,
are.
we have
Okay.
recorded this, the stuff. Oh my god, why do I still have a blue frog in front of me? Get away. Thanks for the hydrate. We have recorded it, so those sessions will be uploaded
Yes.
onto YouTube. When
Be prepared.
asked Steve.
Yeah, okay, so I can speak to this. Be prepared for the next, I guess, 9 days. The next 9 days for a new Healing Rifts video to come up every day, including the last few weeks. I'm actually going to compress it to 6 days, I think, just so that all of it can come up before our next session.
Oh, that would be amazing.
The last 3, which we have had to do offline, we'll have audio, and then we'll have like a Healing Rifts thumbnail. That's it, because I am bad at managing my monitors, but that's it.
You guys definitely have to watch it because Steve plays Nhudrel, which is hilarious to me.
Nhudrel, I will say Nhudrel's nice in the way that I can take time to think about the words that come out of my mouth before I say them, which is not something I do as a neurodivergent ADHD like hyper kid. So it's very nice actually.
So it's fine. But yeah, watch all the Chaos Wolf stream that is going to go on to the thingies. I'm really glad to be back. Everyone's great to be back. Sammy's clavicles is going to rake in all the money this stream. And I'm really excited.
Oh, sorry, let me pull down my shorts a
bit. Yes! Pandering. Pandering to the streams.
Yeah, so yes, definitely, what? No, that's not a hookah, that is just, steamed water. Blaine. There is no hookah on my stream, that is just water.
What are you on about?
Yeah, it's because it's so constant. It's like a person wearing glasses, and you just read that that's their face, and then if they don't have glasses, you're like, you're wrong now. You've done something, and I don't like it. Yeah, no, this is a vape. It's a vape of non-nicotine, like glycerin food flavor solution. Totally.
So, right. How does this go? Yes, we talk about where we are, who we are, where we can find us, and yeah. Would you like me to just go real quick through everyone, because there are 2 of you that technically don't exist online? Sure. Well, actually, I'll just do me, Meister Hypester, Jack, he, him, am here. Yep, that's pretty. Yeah. Sammy is just there to look pretty, and he does a great job at it. Yama exists on the cosplaying community. Was recently represented South Africa in the World Cosplay Summit. Because, you know, she's famous. I have famous people on my stream.
No, I'm not.
You should definitely check her out on Yamaki Cosplay on Instagram and other places, because she's cool. I have a whole binder full of her prints, because that's how cool she is. It's all signed to me, too, with hearts.
God knows what my next cosplay will be.
Will it have fluffy
I'm like,
and
oh yeah, I'm gonna cosplay Sam.
Do it. I'm gonna cosplay you.
A white man.
Oh, cosplay a white man.
I just did that. I was cosplayed Leon.
Oh god, you
technically was a white man.
He is a white man.
Yep. Quintessential white man.
Yeah, he is he the token white man in your cosplays?
I'm not blonde though, thank God.
Well, Leon's not blonde.
He's not blonde. He's more like
dirty,
I can't say
blonde.
I really know what he looks like.
Sam doesn't have very good taste, but it's okay.
Oh no, I like people without red flags.
Oh my god.
Leon doesn't have any red flags. Okay, well, maybe his older version does.
I was just
his older version was like wicked sexist.
He's changed.
Oh,
he's changed.
I can fix him.
Little Leon had no issues, I will have you know.
Puppy
He was.
Leon.
Oh yeah, that's always a healthy sign when no one has no issues. That's when they're a cultist.
Why? Who's a cultist? I'm distracted by screenshots. I'm sorry. What were you talking about?
I don't know.
Yes, actually, Red, you want to talk about who you are? Where can people find you? I give up.
Oh, Reia, you mean
Everyone-
you? Oh, my internet's dying.
Oh,
Rhea's mic really likes to warm up to letting Reia make noise.
Yeah.
it likes me to start here.
Wow. Right. I
Get the
would
fuck out of
like you
me.
to start right up in the eardrums, please. Like
Right up in your eardrums. Hello, I'm Reia. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram, maybe. You can find me on Jack's channel right now on this day. And you can find me on Beggar Street on Mondays every other Monday. Hi.
Hi. This is like the most adorable ASMR in the world. And if you want to see my totally not slave labor, where can people find you, Steve?
At Dying of Exposure across all of the internet. Beggar Street here, my channel. Just
keep
look, type
planning to
at Dying of
blackmail.
Exposure.
What'd you say?
Sorry, I'm being sent threatening messages from Jess.
Is it because you were being rude about Leon?
No, I just
On the
was
game.
going through my screenshots and I found the perfect one to
No.
emotionally
Oh,
manipulate him with.
You found the one best to emotionally manipulate him with.
Yeah.
I love this group. It's very healthy.
Wait, is this a picture of me?
No,
Oh, then I don't care. It's fine. I thought you'd got like a really ugly screenshot of me that you're about to like
How
leak
do
my
you
name.
even not know if the picture that was sent to you was you or not?
Well, she's not sent it. She just said
I
she
haven't
has
sent
blackmailed it.
anything.
No, that's not good blackmail. You can't reveal it straight away. It's okay, Jess. I support the notion. If you blackmailed me in a bad way, I'd not appreciate it. You got to do a good job.
You need to be a professional
Okay.
about it. That's really what it is. That's really what it is.
Build it up over a while.
I only accept a certain top tier level of blackmail. if
Oh,
not,
no.
go back, do it again.
Nah, Jess can like hold my life for ransom. It's fine. I trust her. Do a good job. Get me in the news.
Is this the half a day of compliments per month that we're allotted? Or
Oh, you fucking incestuous whore.
There it is. There it
Oh.
there
is.
it is.
Now that's not blackmail. That's just gross, Jess. You can do you. I'm just gonna judge you. That's not blackmail. You're digging yourself a hole, not mine.
You know when you annoy me there, I'm just gonna send you those pictures all the time.
So
Carry on.
this is
Okay,
this is the struggle that Sam and Jess live in while the campaign is happening. Is the constant personal threats on
Each
DM,
other.
which I love. I love.
No, okay, no. It's the constant personal threats at each other, but then also like, I'm going to bang your character. You're not going to stop me. Conversation that happens a lot backstage.
It's not who you think. Just people who don't know us. Wrong way round.
It works out a lot better a certain way for the internet's calm, but nonetheless, shall we
Yes,
get started with the role playing?
Let's get started.
Yeah, let's do some let's do some dungeons and do some dragons.
You might want to do a quick recap for people who have not seen us for a
Yeah,
month.
I'm gonna do a broad one for the people that have rejoined us from the last time we streamed. After leaving the city of Southgate, our little band of outsiders found themselves traveling south to Neapolis, the capital city of Synod, which is the country to the south of Adrain, where they were at, kind of near the southern border, to investigate a giant storm that was causing a problem, or rather destroying and obliterating everything beneath it, but staying static over the kind of metropolitan sprawl or region of Neapolis, the capital city of Synod. This seems to be some sort of there's a party consensus that this is some sort of rift or tear in the natural order of things, whether or not it's an attempt misfired at interplanar travel or a gateway to a very bad plane unclear at this point, at this distance, but they spent several days traveling. They moved toward the beach and ran into a hag that went super smooth, and everything was fine, and Yuri wasn't traumatized at all. And then eventually they did solve the hag situation, which was good, and discovered that the hag had been sent there by some organization. That's neither here nor there. They continued traveling south. They found like some other little bits and bobs of things, a gnome that had taken advantage of a bunch of refugees fleeing the Kingdom of Sinon, more specifically the capital, and bound them with bracelets in order to sell them into conscripted service, or at least put them in a very tenuous refugee situation where they might as well be considered human trafficked, and everything. But our party did a good job at freeing those people, and our fun little plant boy bard managed to make that go extremely smoothly and easily, which is good because that was a wizard character, or that was a spellcasting character with a lot of fireballs and stuff like that, and none of those got to go off. They handled it very professionally. They then continued their travels. Other notable things is that just recently they all woke up in this beautiful bed of roses and flowers and such, with music and birds singing in tune with the music and everything. And all of them got wonderful little personalized gifts that were grown books, I believe, as it was described by Yuri, from Yuri. But with more information in them than Yuri themselves even understands was put into the books. Certain things were deliberate, other things were by happenstance because they are tuned to the person that they were created for. I think that's about it. I don't think there's anything other than significance. They did discover from the students that there was a high potential that whatever is happening over Neapolis in the Synod is because of the Crest Arcana, the kind of 8 towers of the kind of ruling council, and possibly some just basically wizard fuckery. They don't know for sure because none of the students knew, but they used kind of deductive reasoning to see that it was a number of different wizards that might have tried to aggressively open up a portal and were fucking around with things that they shouldn't have been fucking around with. I believe it's conjuration for planar travel, if I recall correctly. I might be, yeah, conjuration. And so with that, our group has come to the edge of where the clear skies and the normal spring weather of this region is met with a wall of cold and pain and lightning that is the storm. They can see first Crest Arcana, which is the hillside with the 8 sort of mostly identical but gently leaning in directions of the schools of magic magic towers, and then behind that are in the distance the giant on fire, completely destroyed and continuing to be racked with lightning, and crumbling under the storm overhead. Our group just crossed that boundary and discovered very quickly that both the water was icy and sleet as it would come down in waves, and blasts of wind would shoot, and the lightning would hit them potentially. And that is where we last left off. So you are all inside of what I will now call the storm zone. Storm zone means that the water is coming at you sharp, cold, and painfully. The wind is gusting. It's pretty consistent, but its gusts are much sharper and may cause struggles at overall movement. In the relatively near distance, you see the kind of 8 sort of towers of Crest Arcana, the place where you suspect maybe the a clue, at least, if not a cause of this problem, even though the storm seems more centered over the center of the capital city, Neapolis. And lightning is striking down. Now, the lightning doesn't look like it's very specifically targeting things, but at the same time, it's pretty clear that it will target things that are like standing out on their own. A lot of the trees here have crumpled and been crushed to the ground. You are no longer in kind of a forested area. There's a tree here or there, but it's not nearly dense enough. You are exposed. And I believe, was it Nhudrel that got struck?
Yep.
The lightning.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah, yeah. And Nhudrel has just been struck with lightning. Didn't do a ton of damage, but it looks like this might be a consistent occurrence. What do the four of you do? You've got hundreds of feet to get to Crest Arcana. It would take a dead sprint and an aggressive one to get there fast. Yeah. I leave it to you.
Nhudrel need to do it. Can't save. Is he dead and dying?
No, Nhudrel only took a few points of damage.
Yes.
It obviously hurt and kind of shook them, but they seem mostly fine. Essentially,
Just
it
some,
wasn't.
like,
It was
hair floating in static.
some
Just-
singeing. Yeah, some of your wig has been singed. I
My
think
wig?
canonically we've decided it's a wig
Oh yeah, you're
Nice
a wig.
wig.
because your
Wait.
people
You're
are hairless.
literally the hairless
How
race.
dare
Yeah,
you?
you're the hairless. Are you like a hairless rat frog?
Not
Yeah,
mine.
because you're the hairless race, which you agreed to. You said you were also awesome.
I remember specifically you said
Yeah,
that
I
you would
remember
deny
that.
it later.
I was
But
hairless
that at the
except for the
time,
head.
don't listen to you. No, nope. That's that.
The
You're
rest
like,
of
I'm
the
gonna
race, the
say.
race is like technically bald, so it would be quite funny.
No, no, it's fine. You
Fine.
can have head hair. You can
And
be
this is
completely
how we end
dolphin
the stream.
smooth.
Not
from
anymore
the
though. It's
hairline.
singed off.
You can have head
Listen.
hair. You can be dolphin smooth from the neck down if you want to be, and then
I'm already like struggling with the fact I'm a fucking dolphin in real life. Don't make me do this in a game. Like,
You
I
chose
will-
the fucking hairless dolphin race.
He has hair. All the images that
Yeah.
I've seen, they've had
In-
hair.
in
Well,
this
probably just
in
because people don't want to play bold characters.
yeah.
But yeah, no, like
that's-
canonly, like in lore, they
in the
genuinely
canon of
evolved.
this world,
on D&D
there is
now.
enough humanity left in that your people that they have hair. They're kind of mixed, like DC Atlanteans, right?
Your
Some of
grandma's
them are a little bit more
actually a
fishy.
human. There you go. That's why you have hair.
You're just
Hey,
a
Mommy.
really sleek human.
Is that what happened? My grandmama,
no.
human.
Maybe you got a little
Yeah,
human in
no.
you. Maybe a
You
little
got
human
soiled
in you.
blood.
Did we sleep with Homo sapiens? Oh no.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
Oh.
Disgusting.
I think we should shame your grandma for being a slag.
I was sleeping with the frogs.
Yeah.
Probably actually. Yeah,
She
I-
thought she was under the
Yeah.
impression that she slept with the frog, kissed the frog, it would be fairy tale prince come true,
That-
and she was like, "Aha, I'm gonna be the queen."
You
And
Oh,
then
no,
she was like,
like-
"Actually, fuck, I just fucked a frog."
You just.
And
you
this is
hit-
Yuri made the prank happen. He told people that was a thing, so I'm actually responsible for the whole thing.
You guys hit the nail on the head. That is exactly Nhudrel's storyline. Like,
You are Nhudrel's godfather, a fairy godfather.
What?
Yeah, sure. That does sound like
Now
something
break
Yuri
out
would
into
try
song.
and convince someone
We're
to
the-
do.
we're
I'm
the
gonna try and get
direct-
someone to kiss a frog.
Yuri's the direct result of Nhudrel's line.
Wait
and
until
then I
he.
just went too far.
Good lord.
Yeah, and then I buggered off because I got freaked out.
Children are happening
The,
because of
the
what I
spawns started coming. There was tadpoles everywhere. It was too
said.
much.
Tadpoles.
And not just tadpoles, hairy tadpoles. All right. What? What are we going to do?
Anyway, yeah, lightning. It's bad here. It's bad here.
Very, very
What do you all do?
I'll really
So,
run to the closest
obviously, you're
cover.
so in the emotional moment and shook. Clearly, I can see it's creeping into the emotions of the actual players.
I have the idea that like they're running across and Fang's just there like, it's okay, I've got your wig, and it's just running along holding Nhudrel's wig. It's like I've saved it. It's fine.
He doesn't have a fucking wig. Anyway,
I got your weave.
Yeah, it's
cut
a
it off
weave.
in your
Thank you.
it's natural. All right, all
And then
right,
it will be a
let's-
wig.
Good lord,
He's
if I
gonna
get
need a wig when
struck
we're done
by-
with him.
If I get struck by, he's definitely gonna tear out all his hair because of you guys. But
Okay,
yes.
so
Then you'll need
I
a
think
wig.
Hicks. I think Yama offered up find cover. Right?
Yep.
That's correct.
Yeah, Hicks would kind of just make a bolt for cover.
For
But
cover.
like assuming like everyone else had the same
All right.
common sense.
Since you were the first
to
one that
run.
said it, give me a D20 roll, flat D20 luck check, Yama.
20.
This is fine. We're fine.
15.
15. Okay. That means with a DC 15, I simply need everyone to only roll one reflex save. Sorry, Pathfinder.
Beg your pardon.
Dex save. Dex save. Dex save.
You have too many games.
they're essentially the same thing. They just have different names. But
I got a
but yeah,
shit one.
Dex saving throw. One dex save.
I'm great
Okay.
at dex saves.
Mine was gonna land on a 20 and then it got stuck and then it rolled over. Sad.
So we got a 10 from Hicks. We got an 18 from Fang. We got a 19,
Oh, no.
a nat
Nat
20
You got a
from
nat
Nhudrel.
20!
Yeah.
-1.
I got a 20. I got a 20 by the way.
from Yuri. All right,
Nice.
so
I've learned my lesson
This is,
about being struck by lightning.
you're gonna see numbers come off of Fang's sheet. That's just me rolling. It's easiest to use it off of a character sheet in this when I'm just kind of spitballing effects and I don't have an encounter baked in, like this. And so that is Hicks. You all see as you're running. This doesn't really break your stride aggressively. It definitely would make you like slow down a bit. But a little bit of lightning catches the back end of you, Hicks, and you take
Wait, where am I
5.
on the thing? Where do I need to do this to? There we go.
Yeah, you take 5 lightning damage as you
That's
are singed. The rest of you are fine.
I have to figure out which way. Oh wait, no, is it reversed? Yeah, it might
What?
be that way.
Well, who
Don't
we-
worry,
who
I'm doing
are
science.
who are we flipping off to?
Yes, 'cause
Me.
you got hit by lightning.
Oh, but you realize there's a
but-
Steve in between you two, right? So
I
he's
did
just-
not.
Fine,
He's
it's
just
fine.
caught
I don't.
in
He's
crossfire.
busy working.
Okay.
Sam's trying to
Right.
work off Discord.
Yeah,
fine.
no, I've been working on. I think that
It's-
switch is the same.
But otherwise, the lightning strikes near, but not close to the rest of you as you all find the nearest sort of tree that's acting as a kind of not really exactly a lightning rod because it obviously couldn't take a ton of direct damage, but it's a pretty old, pretty sturdy tree. It's still standing in this storm, so it will provide you some cover as you are now able to kind of collect your thoughts. You can also kind of use it. It's got a pretty wide trunk base and pretty low initial branches. And so it does act as a little bit of cover, so you won't be doing any sort of constitution saving throws against any kind of uproarious wind, where you can stand here and collect and gather your thoughts on how you should approach this. And so you're all
Everyone
safe.
head
You're all
first,
under the
takes
tree.
all the shocks, and then we run after.
Pretty much.
I mean, that's a strategy. That's a strategy. You could do that. Yeah. You're under a tree. You're relatively safe right now. You've still got quite a distance between you and the towers, and an even grander distance between the towers and the capital city.
Does the lightning like strike in like a pattern, or is it just completely like? Sporadic.
Give me a perception check, but the DC is pretty low on this one.
Perception.
Basically, don't roll like a 3.
I got 4.
Well, you do-
Okay. I did say a
Oh, you
3.
did it.
and so you did technically beat that. Um, you have time to look at it. The lightning doesn't seem patterned per se, but it does seem like persistent and frequent. So you can pretty much be guaranteed. It's not like a timed trap. You do see it's being so frequent that you will have to address the fact that if you are out there, you will have to dodge lightning. There's no there. You might be able to run fast. You might be able to accrue it. You do notice. I will say you do notice that the lightning doesn't tend to strike in the same place repeatedly. It does scatter, even if it's only by a few meters in any given direction. It doesn't tend to. So it seems like it's very unlikely that if someone were to get struck by lightning and then like take a pause and then they wouldn't just immediately get struck by lightning again. There's no sense to it. It is behaving like lightning, just lightning turned up to 11.
Great.
So yeah.
Can I try something? I don't know
Yeah.
if this would work,
It's
but what I would
100%
want to
to
do,
try something stuff.
because we're at a tree, right?
You are.
Okay, so what I want to do is with Druidcraft. So it might be a bit cheeky, but because it has like that thing of where I can do like a little bit, like baby bit of growth. I basically want to like use my wait, I think I have one. Just use like an arrow and cut open a little hole in the tree, and then I want to use Druidcraft to kind of like push out like the kind of like rubbery sap, because it's like the sap is kind of like can't remember what the properties, but basically using the kind of rubbery sap from the tree to act as like you know how some people in a storm you have the anti-static shit.
Yeah.
That, and I will just start covering anyone's metallic weapons with the anti-conductivity shitty sap.
Yeah.
You're gonna have sticky weapons, but
That is so
trying to
smart.
stop.
That's pretty good.
Please
I
tell me
like
someone
that.
has prestidigitation to clean it off later.
I like that.
I do.
So there will be. It's a great thought. So it's going to have a base level of success no matter what. But I would love if Yuri would please give me a. Let's go with a. Let's go with what do I want to do here? Let's go with a performance check.
I'll sing
Just
to
want
the
that
tree,
plus
make
nine
the
to
sap
back.
come out.
Yeah, you know what? You just said it. You sing to the tree
Yeah.
to make the sap come out. Sure, performance check. Let's do it. You came up with a version that can
You
work.
just turn around.
I didn't
and
want to
it's
give
Yuri
you one of
tree,
your
like,
plus
hey, Mama, let me
zeros.
spoon your ear.
Oh my
We're
Yeah,
all just
so-
like, Hicks is just like, can we use him as a lightning rod?
Just slowly. Oh no. Oh, the idea of singing to it while coaxing out sap is a strange image for a plant boy. But we're doing what we're doing.
Can you imagine if it was that song? Like, let me show
Oh my
you
god,
how
I
to-
rolled so shit. Well, it's still a 15, but
It's
That's
that
still
song, Can
15.
you blow my
Okay.
whistle, baby? That's the song you're singing to the tree.
No, absolutely not. Not. I don't absolutely not a lot, but that's an absolutely not. A 15. A 15. So for the people that might be, because of course Fang, I'm sure, is 100% fine with being like, oh yeah, that seems smart, and just sticky me up, jelly me up. But for the people that might be a little bit suspicious to this, I think that the deliberateness and the kind of like confidence that Yuri does this with immediately gets across the concept of what's happening here.
Okay.
What this means
here,
is
let
that
me
you will all,
slap you.
yeah. What this means is that you will all have resistance to the damage, so it'll half off the damage. Just to let you know, I'm rolling 2d6s, so you all have resistance to the damage. But with a 15, that's kind of like its thing, and then I will allow you one time during the you're in danger part to re-roll any given save, but only in the like sort of like the time frame between say like the tree and the towers, or if you were in another set of cover. So if you jump from cover to cover, each time you have prep time, I'm going to like refill your one reroll option here. So you can kind of strategize out there. So you have resistance to the damage, and you'll have one free reroll after if it feels like you've failed the save.
Can I do an extra like roll to try and reach up and give Nhudrel a cool hairstyle with the sap?
Yeah, that's
I
gonna
thought
be
he
a
didn't
sleight of
have
hand.
any hair. I thought his weave got
Well, if he
blown off.
does, I'm gonna style it because it's probably all
That's a
like
sleight of hand.
right
That's
now.
a sleight
So
of
Yuri's
hand
like,
right
oh, that
there.
won't do. So he's gonna take a moment to try and style his
Just
hair.
gelled his hair.
What do I roll to?
Sleight of hand. That's a sleight of hand because you're trying to do it subtly.
Climb up
Well,
the tree to do it.
I'm not gonna lie. He would probably just like kind of like give himself a leg up on your like he would probably do that thing where he kind of puts a foot on your thigh and kind of tweaks himself up.
Yeah.
Well, that's an 8. It's not a good hairstyle. It's kind of a
I thought that
pompadour.
counts.
A pompadour?
You have a
Pompadour hairstyle.
a beautiful pompadour hairstyle held locked
Minus
into
1 in
place with
intimidation
she's
now.
Yeah,
but
'cause Nhudrel
plus
is
1,
intimidating.
but plus 1 in persuasion. Weirdly enough,
I don't think it should be. I don't think it
no,
should be.
it shouldn't be.
No, I think I'd be
Knowing
more
what a
intimidated by a
pompadour looks
bad
like.
hairstyle.
No.
Like, I
nonetheless-
don't know fashion.
Talking to.
Nonetheless, so yeah, you are all covered in sap. Some more than others. All of you at least have a bit of it on the bottoms of or on your boots or your shoes or your bare feet. I don't know if Fang is barefooted. In my mind, Fang doesn't wear shoes, but I'm sure.
Yeah, not a nice sensation.
Yeah, and so
Tell you what,
sticky
Yuri
feet
would
for
have
Fang.
he would have got some leaves at least if she's barefoot, and like kind of make the leaves into like a little like the best way I can
Slipper.
describe it is a Tinkerbell shoe. You know, the little Tinkerbell
Yeah.
slippers that are made from leaves.
Yeah.
Those are
And
some
then-
big
yeah.
fucking
With-
slippers.
Little pom-pom,
Sheesh.
you know?
Yeah, but instead it's just like a little like one of those little amber flowers from last session. Yes,
Aw.
there you go. There you go. Now you've got little Tinkerbell slippers.
Um,
And Nhudrel gets a pompadour. I'm so sorry. It's all right.
no
Alright,
roll
so-
for successful Tinkerbell slippers.
gets-
Those
oh, thank
automatically
God.
work.
It just gets
Hicks gets
Don't
the
touch
most
me.
efficient version of the sap.
yeah, it's just on your sword and your shoes, fine.
Yeah.
Don't touch me.
I mean, Hicks wears pretty much all leather anyway. It doesn't really have to be
Yeah.
metal,
So it's
Nhudrel
it's
needs the most, I think.
Yeah, it's
Nhudrel
like sword and stuff, but
definitely.
his outfit isn't.
yeah, and so nonetheless, so you're all sapped up.
The plant made me sticky.
You are a little bit sticky, but otherwise further unharmed by this zap, and you all are aware that this will help you on your ability to do that. Is there anything else that anyone wants to do? You're welcome to pitch whatever idea you want to, and if I can make it make sense, we'll roll on it and see if it works. It does look, I would say, with the amount of time that it takes to do this, you do get a good estimate. There would be about 5 rounds of at full sprint at full speed, 5 rounds between tree and towers, and you do notice that there has to be a certain energy or aura that's preventing this lightning from hitting the towers, because none of them seem to get struck by lightning. So you feel like once you kind of get into their zone, you'll be safe.
Are we
Very
mostly,
video gamey.
Are we all in agreement? Are we heading towards the Conjuration Tower first? Is that still the goal?
I do
I
feel
think
perhaps
so.
if that is where we want to find the source.
Yeah, that is the most likely lead that you currently have. There were no conjuration students amongst the students that you rescued, and conjuration magic is the magic of fucking with planar travel. Though in world, from at least the material plane, there has not been grand success at interplanar
That is the
travel.
biggest fuck off spider I've ever seen in my fucking life. I'm gonna kill myself. I'll be back in a second.
He's just playing with nature. Don't mind him.
So he got
This is canon. Like, there's a spider, and Yuri's like, "Ah, spider friend!" Blah, 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 and everyone else is like, "You're gonna die."
He got
But
us
okay.
all nice and sticky and has run off to play with spiders now.
Mhm. Play with is a loose interpretation, I think, of what's happening. But sure.
But yeah, I
Um,
guess they would go towards the, or they are making their way towards the tower. So I would
Yeah.
guess they'd kind of go, well, at least maybe go from like tree to tree.
Nhudrel would absolutely say we're going back. We're going towards that if we want to
Yeah.
figure out what's going on. And if we can, because like the whole like thing of don't stand under a tree because lightning would strike thing doesn't really stand if lightning is gonna strike anywhere right now.
Yeah, you'd rather it strike the tree.
Yeah.
And there's certain trees scattered amongst this area that look like they seem to be able to take it. Like they're really well. They're large. They're larger than like say your average like pine or evergreen type tree.
We must look for them thick boys.
And yeah, so you're looking for them thick boys. Does anyone want to do anything else to help potentially give them any kind of advantages while traveling?
I have a question actually. So, one of my spells is Tensor's floating disc.
I see that. I see that exact spell. I'm looking at it right now.
So the spell creates a circular horizontal plane of force, which means I can put things on it. But would it also work as a shield?
Let me read the exact spell, so I'm not doing that. It says that it does 3 feet above the ground. I'm not going to be a huge stickler about this, but I will have you roll Arcana on it.
Okay. Because, like, I mean, I don't know how heavy lightning is, but it can hold up to 500 pounds.
Yeah, it can deal with quite the striking force.
Alright.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back.
You're back.
You done playing with spiders?
I did hear about the disc. The one thing I will say with the disc is, if I'm correct, on top of my head, it does need you to walk ahead of it to.
Yes. But it's fine. I
So-
can take the damage.
Okay.
Yeah, the idea is that that's exactly what I was thinking. Is like,
Yeah.
if you use this disc, it could potentially protect somebody else.
Yeah.
And everything. What is your Arcana roll?
Oh, let me roll the Arcana. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Please roll high. Can
4,
I
6,
re-roll?
10.
That's a
Do you want to use your free?
I would save your
Reflex
reroll
save
in case
roll.
you get hit really badly by lightning.
Like, yeah, because I mean, to be fair, if it just stays at 3 foot, we can crawl. That's not the end of the world.
Yeah, someone can kind of tuck under it. It would slow
'Cause
it
it's
down,
just to raise
but
it
it
higher.
could.
roll.
But yeah,
Yuri's short.
Yeah, I'll crawl. Like, I can crawl.
yeah, but nonetheless, and Yuri is also the one with the absolutely least amount of hit points among you.
Yeah.
By far and away, they are the most fragile
know.
of the bunch.
In
And
multiple
so
ways.
you are confident with that if you put a disc up in front of it, at least in that moment, you could probably take a lightning strike with that disc, and then you'd have to burn another spell slot to recast it. If it would kind of destroy the tensor's disc in the moment. Is tensor's disc, is it a concentration spell?
Yes.
Feels like it would be. Yeah,
I think
and so I'm gonna. It doesn't.
Yeah,
say
it's a
that
summon.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a summon. But
It doesn't say
so yeah,
concentration, but it is. I think it is a.
the lightning strike would be not enough force to break past the disc when it struck it, but it would disapparate the disc, and so you would have to recast it. But it would, potentially protect someone that is struggling, depending on how the
Oh, yeah.
lightning goes.
Oh, yeah, it's not concentration, actually.
Yeah, it like I
Doesn't
was
say
looking at it, I'm like, that's
concentration.
wild. That it's
It
not.
is a ritual.
It's not at all.
Oh, no. You can ritual cast it, though.
Yeah, you can ritual cast it. You can ritual cast it now, not burn a spell slot, and just have
Yeah.
it trailing behind you.
Yep.
I won't be mean and target it while it's not being used. And that'll say you don't have enough spell slots for me to be that punitive with
Yeah.
spell slots
I
on you.
have-
You probably want to save all spell slots for when we get in the tower.
Yeah.
And so, Why? You're just going to be dealing with a tower of one of 8 towers of magic users.
I like
I'm
how
sure
we're
you won't
here
need
at level 3.
spellcasting.
This is a great idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, Nhudrel's just gonna like... Yuri, I have an idea. But it does require you to trust me.
Okay, is it fun?
Depending on your definition of fun. And then he casts some like Tensor's floating disc.
Oh.
Uh,
Yuri instantly goes to jump on it. Just sits on the top.
no, you see, the idea is if you are underneath it, it can protect you from being hit by lightning like I was.
But I can't ride it, right?
I could tie you to it from underneath.
No. I'm gonna look at Hex. No, I don't want to. No, not near him.
Why are you
but
looking
then-
at Hex?
Because he's like, I don't want to be tied up near that fucking madman. But then
done
Yuri
nothing
is
wrong.
gonna do that kind of like, he's gonna koala hug it, but slowly shuffle, so he's now hanging upside down off the
That
disc.
seems like so
I
much
know why.
effort. That
I
Yeah.
love it. I'm not even
But
going to
he's
make you
dangling
roll
his-
for it. I like it aesthetically.
just like,
I don't care that require tons of forearm strength. I like it anyway.
To be fair, I use a bow. I need forearm strength to use.
You
a
do.
bow.
You probably have a pretty good
Okay.
climber's grip.
I like
Yeah,
the
just
idea.
-1 in strength.
I like the idea that you have koala'd this thing with your arms, but because your legs don't have strength, your legs are just trailing underneath the disc.
I mean, that's
strength.
fine.
I've got a 17 in Dex. I climb trees constantly.
Yeah. No, this tracks that you could.
You should see
I
my
feel like
thighs.
that's more of a
a
constitution
watermelon.
and/or strength to hold on to something, not really.
Yeah, but
It-
if you run a lot, you gain like bear calves.
Yeah,
And
that
I'm light.
and
I'm really light.
yeah, that and Yuri's so light, it's more like a child, right? Where children have unmitigated energy and ability to climb and sustain themselves, but as far as overall strength, you can just push them down. Remember, you can just push children down when you want to if you're an adult. It's allowed. They can't stop you. They're tiny. Don't do it.
And tell them to do
Don't do
Okay.
that.
We're back.
I'm gonna push Yuri down and then stab him.
Nonetheless, okay, so we got a Yuri koala on the underside of a Tensor's floating disc. We've got sap-covered people. Is there anything Fang wants to do?
I do want to real quick, now
Oh,
that I've
sorry.
seen how Yuri
Sorry.
is attaching himself to the disc, I'm going to cast Mage Hand to see if I can just, like, help him buckle in to the thing
Yeah.
so he doesn't just fall. It's just these 2 hands on his waist, just, like, stay. Or one
Spotting
hand,
him a
however
little
it
bit.
As the
is.
mage hand comes over, I'm gonna let go of one hand, and then I'm just gonna try and shake the mage hand.
Yuri, you can shake it later. This is just to keep you safe.
I'm
Yes.
just gonna do a little wiggle.
Oh, gosh.
Fang? Is there anything Fang wants to try to do to better adapt to the lightning storms or anything like that?
Are you
But
saying
just-
something? Oh, okay.
She's
Yeah, they
gonna
are. It's
listen
just warming
real
up.
good. She's just
Listen
gonna
real
listen
good?
real good.
You know what, Fang?
Yeah.
I'll give you. I'll let you, because you're the material plane creature character. I'll let you do a survival or nature check. Probably survival for you. Survival check to see if you can give yourself a little bit more. You know, you've lived outside the most on the material plane.
One that.
Oh no!
No,
And Fang holds a metal rod into the sky.
And then Hicks is gonna come over and just take it away from him, put it on the floor.
Fang, Fang, no
No.
benefits there.
Nope.
Anything Hicks does, I don't think Hicks is really built
No.
to avoid this, but I wanted to ask.
No, the only thing he would do if shit really went south was he'd start teleporting places. But like,
There's teleport. You also have Arms of Agathis, if you really.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna waste the spell slot on lightning.
Yeah, especially that one. It's not even damaging the lightning. This is useless.
Yeah. Just giving me
uh,
temp HP and like shit like that.
All right.
Good.
So you have essentially you have two main choices on routes. You have the route that is the straight dead run to the 8 towers, and specifically the Conjuration Tower. That will be roughly about 5 turns of saves. Or you can go the tree cover route. The tree cover route is extremely circuitous, and between the trees, you'll regen your reroll your saving your free deck save reroll. But between the trees, it would basically break down, instead of the 5, it would be 3, 3, and 2. So you get more of your free dex rerolls for saving, but you'd have to save more times overall. You'd have to save 8 times instead of 5 times. So which route do you want to do?
I think we should bomb rush it.
You are all
Spirit.
resistant to it now. You do, as players,
Yeah,
know
I'd
that
say
it does
just go quicker.
2d6 damage. So even if you failed all of them, most of you would manage to make it through.
And the
You'd
one
just be
that
very
is,
hurt on the other side.
The one that is squishiest is covered, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and also
is-
it's a lightning storm, like fire could spread and shit if we spend too long. Like, I feel like it's just better to get somewhere. Stone.
Yeah.
All right, this is going to be a fair amount of rolling then, but we're just going to do it orderly fashion. Round 1, everybody please roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Do I have advantage under the thing? Because I have cover.
Fuck me. Okay.
What is your dex save throw? I just want to look at it. You've already got a +5. No. But I will lower the DC for Yuri specifically.
Okay, well that's
because
22. We're fine.
You're fine. Yeah. It's usually either going to swing big or swing low anyway. So Fang had an 18, Nhudrel had an 18, Hicks had a 17, and Yuri had a 22. The first round, you were all fine. The lightning is striking, but you're getting a little bit more confident at being able to kind of judge where it's coming down as you all kind of move as a group. The way I'm going to play this is that Yuri is on the underside of the floating disc and isn't. It's not so much that you're able to really guide it because it is following Nhudrel, but much like a person on like a wakeboard that's on the back of a speedboat, you're able to kind of angle the disc and kind of move it around in Nhudrel's wake, if you will, by shifting your
And at
weight.
one point, Yuri just get too into it, and at one point, it just starts flipping like a coin.
It's like
He's
upside
like,
down
"Wee!"
skateboarding, parkour, but
Yeah.
with a disc.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I don't know if other countries love attaching things to the backs of ropes on the backs of speedboats as much as Americans do. But if they
That
do,
sounds like a death trap.
it sounds like, and in the most extreme and improbable events it can be, but for the most part it's the safest way to recklessly put yourself in harm's way that probably won't hurt you. It's a very safe way to be like, oh, I've lost control of the scenario. Because most speedboats are only going like 35 miles an hour, and hitting water at that speed, it's not going to be comfortable, but it's not going to do any lasting damage. Nonetheless, we are past round 1. Now it's round 2. As Yuri continues to kind of wakeboard behind Nhudrel
Just hear
on the
Nhudrel just going, Yuri, stop.
You mean another round of those deck saving throws?
My instinct was right. You're not my dad.
Oh,
I was
God.
like, and you're just gonna spin faster until eventually he does like a full flip.
Oh no. This is the reason I get struck by lightning, is because I'm so concerned about Yuri.
Oh well, you shouldn't
Fang
be.
is like just clapping and cheering.
Yeah, 16.
Listen, it's neutral.
Six
He's
moves.
worried about everything at all times.
Nhudrel, you are going to take, unless you want to do your reroll, you're going to take some damage.
Hit me, it's fine. I'll hurt.
You take 4 lightning damage. I've already halved it for the resistance.
Thank you.
So that was round. So you all see what's now going to become a common occurrence of Nhudrel just getting struck casually by lightning. You know, for such a nerd, they're quite durable though. And they managed to kind of keep pushing forward.
It's very much the boom. Okay, and it keeps going.
Okay, just go. Just keep going. The rest of you all successfully managed to dodge the lightning gauntlet. And give me round 3, please.
Oh wait, that's deception. Oh god, I'm dumb as you fucking like. Well, that's good job. That was deception and not just dex.
Yeah.
There you go. Fine.
Nhudrel, you're so bad at tech saves. Your dice rolls are bad.
Listen, I was great twice.
Oh.
I rolled a d20 and a 19 twice, and then all my luck just left the moment Yuri was like flip-flopping behind me. So it actually works. The dice make sense because Nhudrel would be the type to be like, no, don't make me turn this disc around, and then get shot by lightning. This absolutely tracks.
Yeah, Yuri,
Got a
while spinning,
fancy
is
nat
going to
20.
yell, "Focus on the road!"
Fang,
Does
did
a
you-
fancy like
the mom,
dive
then?
to the side, backflip, really smooth looking, dive out the way from the lightning. Save.
Gorgeous.
I like to
Fang,
imagine
did you,
that because Yuri's flipping, it's actually dodging the lightning.
Did you roll your round 3?
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah, Fang got 15.
Did you go 15?
Okay, Fang 15. So everybody except for Nhudrel saves. So let's do Nhudrel's damage again. Unless you want to reroll.
How low are we looking?
It's fine. How low can we go? Let's go.
How low can we
The
go?
10th HP taken into effect as well.
I don't
also-
know.
No, mine
I
too.
think that was already.
Yeah.
I think that was already gone because it was only 2.
It was already gone from the last lightning
Yeah.
strike. That is a 5. That's a 5. I've already halved it. Looking pretty rough. Well, 2 more rounds to go. But I do need everybody except for Yuri, because Yuri automatically succeeds this because they're writing something that isn't affected by it. I do need everybody to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Thank God, because I do not have con.
Oh my god, I didn't
9
get
for
very-
me.
None of us did well.
Oh god.
All right.
Constitution shot.
You guys should get a disc. They're great.
9, and a 7.
So
Yikes.
the difficulty for everyone
My
but
con's
Yuri
not my
which was
big play.
already lowered. The difficulty for everyone else, this was a DC 15 to avoid these lightning strikes on the saves. That's how I've been running it. It is now a DC 17 to avoid the lightning strikes, except for Yuri, who didn't have to roll it and already got a reduced thing by being on, under the disc. So Yuri's living his best life. Everyone else a little bit struggling. Round 4, as the wind picks up, it makes it kind of harder to manipulate and navigate through this, and the kind of icy sleet rain is doing this. Round 4 of dexterity saving throws. Go.
God. Well.
Oh my god, it was nearly a 4.
Oh,
Jesus
into the
fuck,
corner,
that
I
was
can't
close.
see. I'm affected. I'm affected. That's a 10.
Yeah,
I'm not. I got back up on my feet.
17.
you're so lucky.
Fucking, I mean,
I
that
nearly
would be
rolled a
great
4 though.
Kill
even
it.
if you need that
Please.
challenge.
Fucking.
Okay,
This is
Nhudrel.
fine. This
This is
fine.
round 4. Do you want to reroll, or do you want to just stick with it?
I'm just gonna take the damage. It's fine.
Okay, this is going to be the damage for both Nhudrel and Hicks. 5 damage.
Not
5
Hicks,
How
lightning.
Fang.
low are you looking?
Oh no, for Fang.
Or
Fine.
Fang.
Yeah, Hicks got 22. He's
Yeah, I
fine.
was like, how did Hicks get hit?
I'm fine.
Yeah, Hicks
I
is
don't know.
Fang.
Unless he like twirled into one, there's no.
Yeah, how is Nhudrel looking right now, hit point wise?
He looking proper singed. Yeah, but he can keep going.
Need to roast
Okay.
frog's legs.
You're
French
so
cuisine.
close.
He's looking French.
You're
yeah.
almost
One more
there.
roll, right? It's one more.
Just one more roll.
To be fair,
Um,
it's so good that we didn't do 8. Imagine 8 of this.
Sure.
He would be
Yeah.
dead. He'd be.
Glad.
Yeah.
Wait,
He'd
wait,
become
what's
dinner.
5?
So one more roll. One more. Yeah, give me another round of deck saves.
Wait, what's damage I
Oh
take?
no! Oh well, that would just take the
5.
thing
Oh.
for me.
5. Again.
I'm gonna do my reroll.
And yeah, it was 5 again.
Shit.
The
Oh my
lightning
god,
will
no.
take mine,
I'm fucked
right?
either way.
Okay.
Alright, I think
Hicks.
I'm gonna try the reroll.
Might as well do your reroll. You're gonna lose
I
it
did the
anyway.
reroll, and it didn't make a difference. I'm still fucked.
Yep, still fucked. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So Hicks. So this time Fang is fine. Yuri continues to be fine, I think.
Fang has
No, I failed.
instinctively-
Oh no, you actually failed. Oh, so the
But that just breaks
tensors
the
of
disc,
floating
right?
disc
Yeah.
breaks, and you're fine, Yuri.
Yuri's
So
on
you
the
take
floor
no
like a
damage.
turtle, like ah.
Fang scoops him up.
And then for Hicks and Nhudrel, your last goddamn again.
Five.
Already halved 5 more lightning damage, and
May I, since this thing
I now
has
have Yuri's
struck-
HP.
Same. Has
Oh.
struck Yuri.
Oh no, it didn't strike me, just the disc.
It has struck the disc. You are no longer protected. Can Nhudrel turn around, pick him up, princess style, and just yeet across to the tower?
Fang did
I
already
think
pick me
Fang
up.
did that.
yeah, Fang already grabbed him.
Oh, okay, damn. Okay,
Fang,
everyone.
Sorry.
the moment the disc.
I missed my
Everyone just wants to
princess now.
carry
Was
me.
like
I don't.
running behind because she was watching Yuri like do his sick little flips on
Oh,
the
yeah, you
board,
were
and then
behind
the moment he
us,
went
yeah.
"Pah!" on the couch, she's like, "Oh, scoop!"
Yeah, to be fair, that
Does
might make
make
more
sense.
sense anyway, because you have to be like 10, 15 feet ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Fang scoops up Yuri. All of you reach the sort of outer edge of this sort of octagonal circle, container of these 8 towers, and the lightning. And you could tell as you were approaching, the lightning just doesn't go past a certain threshold too close to any of the towers. And you reach the outer edge of the kind of barrier that the towers are emitting that protects themselves from this. And you are no longer in the sleet. You're no longer in the lightning. You can still see it above. You can see actually that it's kind of striking sort of an invisible protective barrier dome that sort of acts as like an encasement to protect these towers. But you are no longer in threat or danger, and you are at the outside of the Conjuration Tower. I'm just going to put that as easily in front of you as any other, because you could just walk to it anyway. So
As
you're
we-
outside you're outside the nearest tower to you is the Conjuration.
As we kind of get to that place, I'm gonna go, Nhudrel, come here, Nhudrel,
Yes.
closer.
It just kind of gets down on one knee in front of him.
I'm still a baby in Fang's arms. So I'm like, come closer while they're like, ah. And then he's just gonna go. He's gonna like lean in real close while leaning out and goes, okay, and poke him. As he does, I'm gonna do a. Rolled really shit, but you get 12 healing, and then I'm gonna precipitation you, so you look like you've never been struck by lightning in the pompadours. To your normal hairstyle.
Oh,
12
you're
hit
getting
points
rid of the
back.
pompadour? That's
12 hit
upsetting.
points
And he just goes-
back? That is amazing. What does this
Yeah,
look
well,
like,
I
by
mean,
the way?
It's very much like the best way to describe it is a bippity boppity boop. It's just like a poof of. I went really cockney as I said that. But it's just like a poof of like kind of pinkish greenish smoke, and then you're just like looking like you've never been struck by lightning. Your clothes are clean, your hair's back to normal, and you're just like, what the fuck?
I mean, I do still look kind of singed, though. I'm not.
Oh no,
fully
only because
okay,
I've
but-
prestiged, like
Oh, okay.
cleaned everything
Gotcha.
after.
Well, thank you.
Probably still sore, but
Do you?
you look fine.
Do you? Oh, well, that's the only thing that matters. Do you have another of those in you?
I mean, yes, but I probably could only do one more, and then that means I can't do a lot of other stuff. But you don't worry. If anything happens, I will ensure. Not well.
No, I am. And he just kind of looks at Hicks for a moment, and then
I was
looks
just
at
gonna like be like, no, like don't touch me.
and then looks at Fang, and then just like, there are other people who might need help, but
Oh,
Fang looks relatively fine.
Fang!
Yeah.
How are you doing?
what?
Fang is doing
You're mute. Oh, there you go.
great.
Great.
You might.
Then that's everyone. Let's go.
Oh my god.
She's only lost like 3 HP, really.
Yeah. Fang's sitting at 32 hit points. Fang's doing
We're
good.
fine.
Nhudrel doesn't
go
know
in.
that. Nhudrel just saw lightning bolts. Like Nhudrel doesn't can't see.
That must have been
people's
as bad.
forms,
That must have been as bad for everyone else as it was for me, right?
Right? That
Right?
must be.
That was terrible. I barely, or I was really hurting there at the end. Everyone else,
That
no.
didn't feel good. The others,
No.
how they're doing.
Fang is gonna put Yuri down like gently and look at Nhudrel and be like, "You need me to carry you." And she's like scooching closer to Nhudrel, got like worried about because he cut that every
Pick him
single
up.
time.
Pick him up. Pick
Nhudrel's
him up.
coming at him with like these open arms out of very concerned.
This is just the scooching you want. Do you want me to hold? I can't the image in my head right now. But I think with the moment she starts like scooching towards him, he's gonna start scooching away. Like, I have my feet. They work fine. We should
He has
look
feet.
in there, and he's just going to look like point in any direction, really.
No, wrong way. We need to go in this tower.
Then that one.
We just came from there.
Okay.
Oh, do you
Oh,
want to go back
really
in the lightning?
confused.
I'm absolutely the intelligent one here. What does it? Can I see which might be a more? Can I look around to
I think
see
we're
if
at the
there's
door.
a place that we can go in? Are we in? Or
Yeah.
are we just by the door?
You're not in there. You're still, a few dozen feet away from the entrance. But essentially, this is not meant to be like a mysterious tower that is hard to like engage with. This is a it's a large like civic building, and B, it also needs to be able to impress people. So the towers all kind of loom, but the Conjuration Tower looms in front of you. It is very wide. At a distance, it kind of looks sort of like a classic Wizard's Tower, where essentially there's an outer circular stairwell or an interior circular stairwell along the outer wall, which you would normally expect in a Wizard's Tower. As you are now close to it, you realize, no, this is like a building with multiple rooms on every floor, and it goes up roughly about 100 feet or so into the sky. So it probably has somewhere in the neighborhood of like 10-ish floors, maybe 9 if one of them has particularly, or a couple of them have particularly high ceilings. But it manages to do that. But the front doors are literally just like a pair of double wood oak doors with kind of a couple steps leading up to them and everything. And there's like windows on the main floor that have kind of dark stained glass that you can't really see the coloration on too well because it's gray and stormy and not very bright out right now, and everything. But it looks more like the entrance of, say, like, an official building, like a university or like a civic building, than like a mysterious creepy tower. There's just like a front open door. You can kind of tell as you look at it longly that like some of the bricks seem to sort of shift a little bit. Some of the stones, I should say, seem to sort of rotate and shift, almost like a little bit like a Tetris thing, where just the way that they lined up seems to do that. But it's pretty mild, and it's pretty almost aesthetic looking, even though it's definitely not, like illusionary magic. But like they shift ever so slightly. Like they rotate, or one moment you look at it, and it'll be more of a horizontal stone, and the next moment you'll see like two vertical stones next to each other, kind of thing. That sort of stuff. But yeah, front doors. They're closed currently, but they're just right there.
It doesn't look like it's booby trapped in any way, shape, or form. Yeah.
I mean, you probably want to roll on something like that, but
I would like to check that it's okay to open, and if it's okay to open, I'm open.
yeah, if you're looking specifically Nhudrel, if you're looking for traps or anything like that, you can roll either a perception or an investigate. Yeah, I'd say investigate, because you're specifically trying to suss out something like that. You could also roll Arcana if you're trying to suss out if they're like any kind of magical.
You rolled well.
I know. It's a surprise. It's a surprise. Apparently, if I'm not.
Oh, very good.
If I'm not going to be struck by lightning, then I roll good. So yeah, that's a 24. The nat 20.
You do sense that there is kind of a general aura spell on this, but it doesn't seem it's not the kind of magic that triggers like evocation magic or anything like that. It doesn't seem like a trap. It almost seems like a ward has been inscribed somewhere in here that's releasing sort of a general aura. Because it's nat 20, I'm just going to let you know. It's a protection spell. It's not like a barrier or of entry or anything like that. It's more of a, we're filtering out these problems.
And that's probably not going to affect me and my companions, right?
As far as you know, no.
Yuri's gonna just walk out to the door, confused what's going on. He'll just try and knock on it politely.
You knock on the door.
Bonjour!
That's such a...
Yuri, you're able to knock on the door. Nothing happens to you. You knock on the door. It's gonna take about 30 seconds to a minute, but you can even being right up by the door, you can hear that there's like people inside and everything.
Oh, okay.
Eventually, the door opens, and a person in a robe set that's not dissimilar from the robes from the students that you left, kind of like a black robe with sort of inlays and why do I never remember this word when I need it? Embroidery. That's the word. Embroidery to kind of indicate sort of a color that you did not see from the students. So obviously this is sort of like the uniform of the Conjuration Tower.
Wait, so I realize they've just opened the door and they've just seen a fucking Eladrin.
Yeah. So the person opens the door, kind of pushes their glasses up on their nose. Yes, can we help you?
Hi. Can we come in? The weather's awful.
It's awful.
Like really bad.
Yes.
I think
yes,
it might rain.
I feel like Nhudrel was about to say 80 something. Yuri says that, and then he just loses it. Like,
yeah. Yes, of course. You can come in. Come in from outside. Come in from the storm. And they open the door wider for you to come in. And
Yuri just kind of looks at everyone else like, "Why don't you knock?"
And what you kind of see when you enter in is sort of a, for lack of a better term, a kind of an administration office, the same that you'd see at the entryway of any sort of like financial institution or research institution. There's several desks set up. There are multiple people kind of working on things, walking across to talk to it. The building is circular, but it's pretty wide, so it's obviously divided up into rooms. It's pretty big in diameter. And so you're in sort of the front room administration office here. You can see desks, you can see filing cabinets, you can see kind of glowing orbs on the wall, providing a kind of a arcane spectral, or not spectral, but arcane glowing light, like similar to a light spell or dancing lights. They're just sort of maintaining on the walls there. There's people like literally talking, discussing things, going through tomes and scrolls. Some of them are sipping tea and coffee. It looks like an office, busy, but not panicked. As you all kind of walk in here, walk into this place, it's not particularly fancifully decorated. It's very utilitarian. It's not cold or barren, but like there's not like portraits on the wall or paintings or ancient mounted heads of beasts or anything like that. It's very simple, very utilitarian, pragmatic. Probably a little boring to Yuri, other than the fact that you can absolutely feel the now that once you walk across the threshold, there is so much magical energy in this place. It is akin to things that you might be more familiar with at home, as far as like levels of just sort of like the effervescent electromagnetic arcane fields. You can feel it. It tingles differently than when you're just walking about in nature. So there's a lot of juice in this building.
My brain is just playing that song. I feel it in my fingers.
Yeah,
Brain is stuck on the word tingle.
It's
my toes.
Is anyone like just out like do I like I'm happy to roll like anything but do I get any like because I forgot I didn't disguise myself bluntly put and I've realized this am I getting any weird looks or anything?
You don't have to roll for this because you're used to worrying about this. It's something that's kind of on your mind on and off while you're in the material plane. Nobody is looking at you strangely. If you want more information than that, you would want to roll at it. But nobody's like seeming to notice you specifically.
Can I roll?
Yeah, insight, perception, one of those two.
That is a 17.
With that, you're like, oh no, I'm not disguised. And then you look around and you're like, these people don't know what an Eladrin looks like. They don't know what an Eladrin. They don't know what they don't know what I am, but they don't know that means that they also definitely don't know. They probably think I'm like some sort of like dryad or plant person or something like that.
I mean,
I don't know that I'm special.
I mean, to be fair, dryad is also Fang. So
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
yeah, I'm just
yeah,
gonna...
and they're just not learned enough to know you look unique, but they're not learned enough to know that you're anything extra planar.
Okay. I'm really sorry, guys, but as everyone else is doing their own thing, I'm just gonna do prestidigitation and just do it like and make it like really loud.
Oh god.
Okay.
Get everyone's attention.
Okay. So Fang, Nhudrel, Hicks, what are you doing as the doors are sort of open to you and you see this sort of administrative office? In that order, Fang, what are you doing?
Fang is gonna sniff check.
Sniff check. Give me a perception roll with advantage because you're in a contained space.
You didn't do that correctly.
All the smiles are here.
And roll it again. And we'll take
That's
the higher
really
of the two.
high.
Been so hard.
Wow.
It's a
It's
thing.
19. It's 19. It wanted to be a 19 no matter what.
It was like, don't make me
sniff-
roll again. I know
19,
what I want to
19.
be. Sniff check from Fang. Everything smells like you would expect it to smell. You can tell that there's some magical stuff in here. You can smell the wood of the desks. You can smell the people and the kind of individual kind of like sweat on them. Nobody looks like they're hiding anything. There's nothing like dead or rotting or unnatural in here outside of the magical supernatural stuff. Yeah, this looks exactly like you would. The smell and look of this place are fully aligned. Seems pedestrian almost. You can definitely tell that people are like intensely working, but you're not smelling a high amount of fear. You're smelling just sort of like the sort of general we have a situation on our hands response. Are you doing anything else, Fang, while you walk into this place? A solid, probably 1.5 feet taller than the next tallest person here beside, Nhudrel.
Does anything happen to smell like her tribe?
No, nothing smells like your tribe here.
Okay. So she just cautiously walks in.
Um,
And looks around at everybody who's just clearly very busy, and it confuses her.
mm-hmm. Uh, Hicks, what are you doing?
Probably just gonna have like a look around, probably like a perception or something. Just see, like, I know you said that everyone seems pretty calm, but like if there's someone who seems to be like scampering off somewhere, or someone who seems to be whispering something to someone else, or
See if you can overhear
if
like
anything,
important bits or catch important bits. Yeah. Give me a
if
general
like
perception
anyone,
check for that.
if anyone's saying anything. But he's not like super. No, nothing. He's not super like. He's kind of letting the others do the hello, we're here sort of thing, and he's just kind of hanging back.
Just hanging back.
With, like, watching.
Obviously with a 7, you're not gonna pick up much. But at the 7, it all seems pretty like this is how this should look. Everything here looks like how it should look. I would say that the thing that you take note of, even at a 7, Hicks, is that you at least acknowledge these people do not seem scared. They seem determined.
Oh.
They don't seem scared. They seem
determined.
Determined. I thought you said perturbed, and I was like,
yeah, me too.
What?
No,
so I was like,
no.
but they're not scared. What?
No, they're determined. They are on a mission.
So he is going to understandably be very confused as to why everyone is not concerned about the fact that there's a big ass lightning storm outside chasing people away, and try to see, like, why are they so calm? Like, he would like to see, like, try figure out why they don't seem to be as like
as panicked or reacting to the fact that this is a
big problem.
It's like, big boo boo.
In Nhudrel's opinion, and they're not treating it as such, as far as you can tell.
You can give me either insight or investigation. They will give you 2 different responses depending on which one you roll.
I feel like for him it should be insight this time.
All right.
That's a dirty 20.
Nhudrel, you have history with working with organized operations, right? You've been in the presence of things like this. This is lower tier capable agents that have been set to a task of, essentially, this is not dissimilar to reconnaissance or accomplishing like almost like a state level response, right, to something. It is an emergency, but it feels like these are people almost following orders, almost in a sort of almost in the same way that you would expect, a military to respond to a situation. And I would say with a dirty 20, your instinct is that this is not a situation that this area was like wholly surprised by or unprepared for. This is something that has been discussed, and there is probably a order of response. There's a standard operating procedure that has been implemented here, and that people seem very engaged in their work to resolve this problem, but it does not feel like it's a problem that they think they can't resolve. They are very much like, we are doing the tasks in order to accomplish goal. Sort of like planning to build a bridge and getting all of the supplies ready, or dealing with a response of needing to, a well-trained fire brigade. They do not panic. They just do the job that they've been trained for.
I think Nhudrel's going to look for someone who seems more higher up that isn't white collar tier who might know a bit more, and speak to them.
Okay. And so we're going to go back to Yuri's prestidigitated or thaumaturged to get everyone's attention. Yuri.
Yeah, do people look at me? What are they doing?
They all pause. You don't need to roll for it. They all pause, and several of them kind of look at you. Not like all of them in unison. It's not like creepy, but they all like humans in a room that had been
Like
addressed
owls.
as such. Everyone just turns their head 180 degrees.
That's fucking terrifying. Good lord.
Yeah. So they're all looking at you. Have the room's attention.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of like clap my hands together and go, "Hi, so, who pissed off the elemental plane of lightning? Was it you? You? Who got mad at a genie? Oh, come on, one of you did it. Come on, tell me.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, you're so boring." And he's just like basically being like, "Where is the person in charge?
So
What happened?"
you can do this as a performance, or an intimidation, or a persuasion, intimidation or persuasion
I
check.
think
Your
it's
choice.
almost performance in the fact of he is acting so nonchalant. It's very much like he's like, "Oh my god, I'm definitely teasing you guys. I know what's going on." But I don't.
Yeah. So give me a performance check on this.
Okay, that's 25.
Yeah, it's a +9, so I knew it would be high. Fortunately for you, Nhudrel, Yuri's managed to shake the bushes out to the person that seems to be in charge. It's really unclear. No one seems to have any sort of like ranks, because this is not a military, so they don't have like pips or anything like that. Because they know each other, so they know who the boss is. The boss doesn't dress differently. A woman with kind of a woman with like a shaved head on the sides, and sort of like the top hair kind of slicked back, very kind of neatly and very precisely placed, in the same sort of attire, in the same sort of robes with the embroidery and everything, approaches you, has real pale blue eyes, which contrasts with very kind of like tan, kind of like very kind of like tan, kind of warm brown skin. Sort of approaches you, and middle-aged woman, definitely like definitely has some crow's feet around her eyes, looks and at Yuri, and it's like, you think that we what who are you? Who are you?
I am me. Who are you?
In the conjuration of no,
Who are
that's not how
you?
this works.
No,
That's
how
not-
dare
you're in-
you?
uh,
Who
you're
are
in
you?
my
Who do you think
tower.
you are?
You're in
No,
my
you're going to give me your
I
name
am the
before
head
we proceed. Am I
administrator.
quite clear? Can I do a
I am-
persuasion check?
I am the head of business. Yeah, the DCs for this is going to be real high, because this is kind of a fun thing. But let's see.
No, I
let's
rolled
see.
shit. That was a 12.
Oh,
No. You are in the Tower of Conjuration on the Crest Arcana.
Are we?
Yes. Yes, that's where you are. I assume you've come because the storm is terrible outside?
No, I actually just really wanted to see the view.
Ixa's just kind of, he doesn't want to speak at all. He's kind of just been watching people, but he's gonna look a step forward because he can't deal with Yuri. He's just like, you're making it worse. Hicks would kind of just like, he'd have been at the back the whole time. With his like hood up and all that shit. And he would have stepped forward and then kind of like stepped in front of Yuri to like just cut him out of view, so he can talk to the lady.
Angel's gonna pick up Yuri and just pick up and walk away with him.
No, I don't want to.
Just put your hand up his mouth, make him shut up.
Me!
Yuri just starts licking the palm of your hand.
Let me free.
I will wipe his face with it.
Yuri's not going to be licking anything. Thank you.
Good.
Yuri does not lick out of response.
Don't lick frogs, it's bad for your health.
Yeah, I don't like, especially blue frogs.
You
Or-
don't
Die of
like
poisoning.
frogs. That's not even
I mean-
bad advice. I wouldn't suggest it.
So Hicks would walk, kind of cut Yuri off. Nhudrel would take Yuri away, or try with his protesting. You must forgive the green one. He's a child. The blue one is trying to teach him how to behave. But
I'm older than most of the people here.
Huh?
If not all of them.
I thought your
She-
hand was over his mouth. Make him shut up.
Oh.
She's
We are here because we are interested in this rift and this lightning storm that it is producing. We've been sent here by the mayor of Southgate to investigate it, to see if we can bring him back any knowledge.
I suppose a drain would be concerned about this next door. That makes sense. Yes, there is a challenge that has occurred. We are working on addressing it. We should be able to address it soon. Give me just a moment. I'm getting a direct phone call that I cannot ignore.
While
I got
Gay
really
Mommy
confused
is
there.
gone. Oh, while Gay Mommy's gone, it is Reia. Reia is now Gay Mommy.
Gay mummy?
Gay Mommy is now Reia.
Oh, that's a different kind of website. We're gonna have to charge more.
Oh no.
Right, Reia, so I need you to, I don't know, just like take Yuri's voice away or something. Just like,
Reia, do we need to get you a bit drunk if you're gonna be a gay mummy?
idea. At least it's a bad idea.
Oh.
Nothing would make sense ever.
Nothing would make sense ever. How would you take the story from here? Like, let's go.
From
Your
here.
turn. You're the story.
Oh my God.
what are you going to do
Oh,
to Yuri
you-
so that we
What
can
are you
actually
going
get
to
information? Because Yuri's not helping.
Look. Do you
Don't
want
you
me to
look
be
me.
boring?
No, Not
There
at
we
all.
go.
but
But no.
would like to not get chucked out the tower right away.
Oh
feel
no,
like-
I wanted
I feel
them
like
to throw me
somebody
out the
should,
door
like-
so I can poof back in.
Someone should approach Yuri. Oh, I've been dethroned so fast. That's what I get for not having a brain.
Darn
Oh no, whose throne is it now?
Oh, I
It's back
rearranged
to
everyone
Steve, yeah.
because I went.
Reia
in
was
there,
Gay
but it'll be
Mommy for a second. Yuri was Sammy was Fang. We should have got Sammy to play Fang. That would have been hilarious.
Oh God. Poor Fang.
I don't think I do very well at Fang, to be honest. I'm not very good
Oh.
at shutting up.
No.
I talk too much.
Very good at shutting up.
She has a lack of knowing what to say, really.
Yeah, I don't
We're
stop.
teaching her. Give her a couple of months and she's gonna be so good at doing the speak.
Oh yeah.
It's her friends doing the good speak.
Mm-hmm.
Good speak. So, the head administrator, she simply says, we are currently working on resolving the issue, and we will be more than happy to copy out a full, detailed report of what is occurring and how we intend to resolve it, which should suffice the needs of the Kingdom of Drain.
Do you have anything written up right now that I could look over, so I can fill the mayor in? You know, you cannot leave these people without information. You know how hierarchy works, no?
Give me a persuasion check. You're lightly deceiving them, but there'd be no reason they would suspect that this is a lie. Like the kind of deception you're doing is so adjacent to the truth that they don't. But a persuasion check.
23.
Oh. Yo.
I'm happy to let you look over some of the work we're doing here. I can assign an assistant to bring you up to speed. Can I know your names just so that I can report that this has been communicated?
tempted to just be like Yuri again.
Yuri can see you this time. He will
I know.
attack.
I know,
will
that's why
attack you.
Because he's here, Hicks won't do it. Sorry, I was just getting something. Fucking name. Hold on. Give me a second. Somebody else say
It's like
something.
Fish just like
someone else say
Fish just like
something.
patting Nhudrel's shoulder, like Nick's doing the thing.
Hicks is doing the thing. Just like Nhudrel holding Yuri
What
aloft with the hand over Yuri's mouth.
Can
Just
I
like-
wait? I don't actually. Yeah, no. Can I? As soon as like Nhudrel looks aside to look at Fang talking, I'm gonna use my face step and just peace out.
Yep, you can absolutely do that. No one can
And
stop
I'm gonna poof as far away to the other side of like the building as I can to like be
Yeah.
nearest the stairs.
Um,
And I'm just gonna
Well,
start walking
it's
up the
just-
stairs if I can,
it's
stealth that.
just
I'm just like not
Fang-
trying too hard.
Is Fang and Nhudrel just looking at each other going, where the fuck did the green one go? Like,
You can't really hide very well in this office. There's no clear stairwell. You would suspect, Yuri, that if there is a stairwell, it's back into the left behind the door. That's back into the left.
That's where I would have teleported. To be fair.
But yeah, there's no like. It's pretty easy to see in this office filled with people wearing almost entirely like the darkest of gray to black robes. The green person stands out pretty quickly in the overall spectrum view of that. So you see him poof, and it's pretty easy to catch where Yuri goes
It's
in
just
this
me
kind
and-
of limited space.
I'm gonna- Fang going-
As soon as I like basically start going to walk up the stairs, I'm gonna just like disguise self into just like generic agent wearing the same outfit and just start casually walking up the stairs.
I need you to, if you're gonna try and do the stair thing, you will need to roll a stealth check to not be noticed by anyone else specifically.
That's fine. I still in disguise, right?
Yeah, you can disguise, but someone might see you flip to disguise.
That's fine. That's a
depending on
14.
your stealth.
Not too bad.
It's a 14. All right, I'm gonna roll kind of a general luck die. This isn't so much a passive perception as it is a luck die on this. You're able to open the door and head up the stairs and swap your disguise self without anyone interrupting you from the administrative office. When you open the door, you do see that it is very much like a stairwell hall. Weirdly enough, it goes up and then there's like, a floor above it. And it goes to a landing with a door and another door. Like it's very much more like a typical, like what you would see in a stairwell that's a switchback stairwell. But it kind of curves up along the outside. So it looks like a modified switchback stairwell. But yeah, no one stops Yuri. I would say that Nhudrel and Fang, you have the time to see Yuri just open the door and start going up the stairs.
Hi.
And everything. Well, Hicks is engaging, and the administrator does not catch this. Hicks, what's your name? No one's given the administrator a name yet.
He's gonna like gesture to the other two behind him. That is Fang. That's Nhudrel. I'm Saville, and the green one who's gone to look for the restrooms. His name's Yuri.
Yuri's gonna kill you. That's gonna be
You're
an
not there.
actual murder though. Not gonna lie.
What did you say your name was, Hicks?
Evil. He's just giving up a random name.
The administrator is like Fayville? Fiville?
Evil.
What?
Do you want me to write it down for you?
Yeah, can you spell that for me? I apologize.
Saeedel.
Oh, Sadel.
Saeedel. Oh, it's okay. If you don't know how to speak Elvish, I won't hold it against you.
sorry.
I do know how to speak Elfish.
I'll say my name though.
I get chuckling.
Nhudrel's just gonna take
Unless
a moment to be like, just death. No, please.
But yes, an assistant would be greatly appreciated.
Yes.
Since we
The
will have some
administrator.
questions.
The administrator just snaps, and the person with the glasses that met you earlier, he sort of pops back, and it's like, would you assist our visitors on any information they would need to report back to the Kingdom of Adrain? And you're not going to even have to roll to this. There was a very clear eye contact moment and accent on the like deliberate statement on the phrase "Kingdom of Adrain" would need to be made aware of in regards to this complication we've been dealing with.
Person's name again?
An administrator never gave you their name.
Oh right. Okay.
They got your names. They never gave you their name. And they're like, and they just
You could always
turn,
ask
and they're
her.
like, and they're like, Bradley will help you with what you need.
Excuse me. I did not catch your name.
You can refer to me as Head Administrator Mary.
Mary?
Yes.
Mary.
Yes.
Mary? Mary?
Meri specifically.
Oh, Mary.
Like the little lamb.
Mary, a little. No. Sorry, Administrator Mary.
Yes, it's my last name. It's my surname.
I will refer you by the title you wish to be referred by.
Thank you.
All of us, some of us more than others, were hit by lightning. If you could possibly offer some sort of assistance in that regard, that would be much appreciated.
Try not to get hit by it by avoiding where it is.
Wonderful. I was thinking something more along the lines of potions.
You're in the wrong tower for that sort of thing.
You do not have any backups in this tower? First aid kits of any sort? That seems a little dangerous.
Looks back over to the assistant. Bradley, would you please help Sable? I'll get the pronunciation correct one day.
Waiting for her to
This
pull
person,
in
and they
saddle.
gesture to hit. They gesture to Hicks. Would you please help this person with this? Nhudrel, Fang, feel free to sit over there in the waiting area. Some people can bring you some coffee or tea. If you're hungry, we do have some light snacks we can provide for guests. And I'm sure this will all be wrapped up very much and does not answer your potions question at all. Or first aid question.
Your help is much appreciated.
Not a problem.
Have cooking space. I make great food.
The staff and student commissaries are not accessible to guests and visitors. So unfortunately, we will not allow you to test your culinary abilities. Bradley, you take over, Bradley. And head administrator Mary goes and just turns, doesn't acknowledge that like an exiting gesture or anything, and just goes back to her work. And Bradley sort of looks there, pushes up his glasses, and is like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, we don't really have. I'm sure you're a great cook. My name's Bradley, as Administrator Mary said. I can help you. The seating area is really nice. Would you like anything? Coffee, tea, wine, ale, beer, juice,
Nhudrel's just gonna
champagne?"
release a big sigh and was like, well, that could have gone worse. I don't suppose you have any good berries lying around.
If you're looking for anything to restore energy magically, we don't really provide that for visitors, but
So it is not that you
a
do
warm
not-
cup of cocoa A warm cup of cocoa can feel like a healing potion in times of cold storm.
I appreciate that.
Take one.
So
Oh,
I I see that it is not that you do not have, but you do not have 4 people outside of the tower.
Not always. But it is a little strange, and this is not to be offense. It's a little strange that 4 strangers rolled up into them, introduced themselves, although one of them was real haughty about it and wanted the name and then wandered off. I hope you know that your friend could get themselves in considerable trouble. Um,
burn this place
but
to the fucking ground.
considerable trouble wandering off alone in the conjuration tower like that. But nonetheless, what we're saying is that we're more than happy to fulfill the business needful of this interaction, the kind of stately reporting portion. But you're not from the head administrator's position. You're not really like welcome guests. You're allowed guests. If that makes sense. I'm not trying to push any buttons here. I'm just trying to please let me get you some beverages and some snacks and stuff like that.
No, please, of
And
course.
why would we not be welcome guests? Is she hiding
Because-
something?
Well, I mean, every state is hiding something.
You know I'm
like
being
nothing.
Hicks then like his like tone of voice changes quote unquote to be like a bit more like serious.
What, more serious than usual?
Yeah, more serious than
Like-
normal.
Does the kingdom of Adrain discuss all of the internal matters of its situation with everyone that wanders into any of its state buildings?
They
Is
do
that a
now.
part?
You, however, seem to have a very suspicious rift above your city, which is
Yeah.
not normal.
No, but it is ours
And
to
it is
deal with
affecting.
in the synod.
I wouldn't
However,
say-
all your people have fled and are now affecting our city. So, you should therefore give us the information we need so we can
You're-
come to an amenable agreement.
You're a local of Southgate.
Yes.
employed in this
For some time.
situation.
Sometimes. Certainly.
No, for some time.
For some time. Okay. Well, that is why we are more than happy to provide a report on the ongoing status of us resolving this issue. And then we will, of course, through ambassadorial channels and diplomatic channels, discuss reclaiming our population, rehousing them, and allowing them to move back to the Synod once the danger is resolved. That's normal. It's unfortunate that that several of our population traveled north rather than south. From the capital, but as you might imagine, we're more focused on resolving that now, and then we will resolve the cost and pain that we've caused to Kingdom of Drain. It'll all be in the report.
So, when can I see this preliminary report, and when will
After-
you take us around the tower?
Well, your friends, unfortunately, I know they didn't state it out loud, are not going to be given as much access as you are. They can sit and enjoy snacks and beverages. They're welcome to do that. But I'm more than happy to take you to our desk, answer any current status questions we have, as some other people kind of collate a comprehensive report for you.
Would it be possible if one of them went to go look for the little green one? The green one is sort of like their adopted nephew, per se. So they need to look after him.
If they want to be escorted by a couple of our administrators, in order to reclaim your other party member, I'm sure that's more than doable.
As you said, it is very dangerous to just wander about a tower of
Yeah,
conjuring.
exactly. It would be good. It would be good if you have one of the staff or students here with you.
Of course,
if you are
anyone
going
is,
to do that.
not too busy to help us out. And
Yeah,
reclaim
of course.
our friend.
Bradley snaps his fingers in the air, and very short halfling, like short for a halfling, so very petite, tiny little like blonde bangs, center part hair, little hairband in her hair, comes running up. Alice, would you please assist? Are both of you going? Is one of you going? One of you staying? Looking at Nhudrel and Fang.
Fang, would you like to stay? I think I should definitely look for Yuri.
Hicks is then gonna.
Fang is kind of
Okay, Fang, go first.
Fang is kind of concerned because now everybody's kind of going to be kind of split.
What's wrong
It's
with
just a
Nothing
weird
wrong with that.
party?
Why would you be
Nothing wrong
worried
with
if
that.
I
Why would
split you into either 4
Why?
individuals or 2 individuals and 1 pairing? Why? In a
Why?
tower filled with magic users.
What could possibly go wrong, Reia? It's fine.
Fang is very aware she can't go with Hicks, so she gives Bradley a stern look. And it's like, Sable is a very important person. Do not harm him.
I have no intention of harming. Why would I do? That would be a diplomatic nightmare.
Nhudrel's just gonna like.
Yes.
Nhudrel's just gonna tug Fang's by
Fang,
the.
best bodyguard.
Yeah, Nhudrel's just gonna tag Fang by the wrist and like lean over to like whisper in her ear and be like, he can take care of himself.
Although,
he
kind of
is
before.
good. But I still worry.
Aww.
That is fair.
Hicks is then gonna turn to the other to Nhudrel and Fang and just say, "Have a good look." And he's gonna like have it like he's gonna give them that look to say like keep your eyes peeled kind of thing.
Well, that
Have a
wasn't
good
subtle.
look around
Fang
when
straightens
you're
up and
looking
gives
for
him
the
a-
green boy. All right.
It's like a soldier salute. Like she works under him, that she's like copying mannerisms
Fang.
of the soldiers from Southgate
Fang.
to further like imply that he's important.
Aw.
So cute. Make sure he doesn't get into any more trouble.
I hope you can hold down the situation here.
Alice, escort our friends. I believe they went up the stairs. Your green friend Yuri. I believe Yuri went up the stairs. Escort our friends to find and reclaim the party member, and then when they come back downstairs, make sure that they have a charcuterie board, some fruits, some vegetables,
They just
and
want to
everything.
feed us.
And
Let them not
make sure that they have that.
Let them have cake.
And feel free to field any of their questions to the best of your abilities, Alice. And Alice just kind of nods. Yep. Okay. And so Fang and Nhudrel are going with Alice to look for Yuri.
I want to
and
say
Hicks-
this whole time that they're with Alice, Nhudrel's gonna be like, so how old are you? How long have you been working here? How do you find it here? Like a million.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get
thousand
to
questions.
And Hicks, you're going with Bradley to more directly discuss the events and knowledge of this. And now we cut to Yuri. Yuri, you've reached the 2nd floor landing. There are 2 doors and
Did
then
you
another
see my
stairwell.
DM, by the way?
I did not. Let me look at your DM real quick now. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I was thinking quickly. Top. Okay. Give me another stealth check, Yuri. And then I'll kind of describe.
Okay, 18.
Okay, 18. Yuri, you find that the way that this is laid out is it seems like the stairwell is fairly open, but like with some overlap of landing. However, every floor that you go up, you see that there are doors leading away from the stairwell to obviously other rooms and offices and everything like that. But the stairwell itself is a stairwell, kind of shaft way almost. That is fairly easy for you to move up. And as I described, there's about 100 feet up. Would you like to describe your journey to, the point that you state, the end conclusion of it? What's Yuri doing going up these stairs?
I mean, granted, probably no one can really see him. I think it's kind of
Mhm.
like
And just for the players in the stream.
if anyone like opened it, like how to say, if anyone did see, it's probably imagine it like kind of like a slideshow of like every time someone was looking at a door to try and figure out what was inside, it was a different person. As in, like every single floor, he's deciding himself to like a different agent and just peering at the door and trying to figure out what's inside. It is like such a seamless like transition of like he is not staying as one person for like literal minutes, seconds.
Mhm.
As I'm going up though, is there like how to explain? As he's kind of like going from floor to floor very quickly and doing his little dashy. Because I'd probably be using dash action with this. What is there any like? Do any rooms have kind of like, and I don't say it like with a detect magic from like a very natural sense. Like, do any of them give me like a vibe? Like from a like
yes.
aura vibe.
I'd say once you get up toward, say, the top half of the tower's stairwell. And so the way that this looks is that for a while, it's like a supercut of cutscene to cutscene of like a door opening and a different appearance of Yuri, different disguised random person, opens the door, looks in, closes the door. And then it opens again and it's a different person. And it sort of uses that sort of editing language to say that Yuri's kind of just poking, peeking in and stuff like that, but moving predominantly up the tower, especially if the room's doors opened are uninteresting. And at first, it does seem incredibly uninteresting. You open the door, sometimes it'll be another hallway with some other doors kind of off to the side, but it'll look very much like the administrative offices where it's cleanly designed, but not particularly interesting. You're not getting any kind of waves of unique arcane energy from like that space, as opposed to the overall sort of oppressive background noise static of magic that the whole tower kind of has. And everything. But as you get up to the 6th floor specifically, in the 6th floor, you definitely feel, it's on here somewhere. Somebody is fucking around with portal magic. And by fucking around, I mean just simply, like casting it. Like they are fine tuning and casting portal magic. It's hard for you to tell if it's planar or just spatial, but it's definitely more into the category of like hard teleportation, or it's definitely closer to planar than it would be like, say, like a misty step, where it's a 30 feet sort of like dash, or even in the vein of your kind of phase step, where it's like, yeah, technically you're sort of shifting in and out of the reality, but it's not really like, you're not really like crossing barriers or doing anything like massively over a significant distance. And so I think on the 6th floor is where you get this. And when you open the door, what you see is sort of like a kind of a curved hallway that looks like it opens up into what you can hear is a lecture being given. You don't really hear the details of the words, but you can hear someone speaking in sort of the same kind of droning rhythm that Nhudrel gets when you ask Nhudrel about something they're very interested in, and they start speaking to educate you on it. It's almost an immediately familiar. So both a familiar feeling and a familiar sort of code that you're like, oh, this is how Nhudrel talks when they're telling me about something.
Is that what's the word? Because is this like the only place with portal magic and it's just them lecturing, or does it kind of?
It seems like there's breaks. If you want to roll a perception about it, I can give you more without you getting closer to it.
Well, I didn't roll very well. 9.
It's hard to know. The only thing that you can kind of tell is that there seems to be pauses in the lecture, and then maybe you feel just a hint more of energy, of like that portal energy, and then it fades. And then the lecture continues, and then there's a pause, and then a hint more, and then it fades. So it sounds like it's almost like someone leading a class, essentially.
Okay, is there still steps up?
Yeah, there's still several floors up.
Okay, what I'm gonna do, which potentially a bad idea, because I'm gonna probably throw them off my trail a little bit, is Yuri is gonna, like, grow with the druid cloth, just like a tiny little plant, but it's gonna be like, it's a 6-leafed clover, to be like floor 6, and he's just going to drop it down the middle of the stairwell, so go to the bottom for the others to find the 6-leaf clover. And anyone like with basic like knowledge on plants should probably know that. And to be fair, Fang has a herbalism book now, so. But yeah, despite that, Yuri's kind of like, hey, go look at this. But Yuri's not actually going to go in there, and he's going to keep going up.
All right.
He's still aiming to go for the top floor.
Looks like Fang has stepped away, so we're going to jump down to Hicks. Bradley brings you back to sort of not like a cubicle, but sort of like a corner desk that's sort of a little bit larger, a little bit more prominent. Just the most subtle, heightened sense of importance, and begins pulling out different files and different collections of reports. And there's a seat across from them at the desk that they kind of gesture at. Our staff gives you some sort of, or begins to collect a preliminary report for you. Do you have any direct questions about what's going on? It can perhaps provide guidance to the information that would be most relevant for a drain or your particular interest.
Yes, the first one is, how did this start?
We have yet.
It's not natural.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, yes, of course. We have yet to discover the source of what caused this. We are currently investigating multiple leads. It seems to have started somewhere inside of the city of Neapolis.
Where?
We
Need not be a
don't.
bit more specific.
We don't have more specifics at this time. It has to be in the kind of, based off of the measurements that we've been able to take about it, and assuming it was relatively cast directly upon the area, we would assume it's in the downtown region, where most of our commercial district is, but we don't really have a specific location. It's very hard to have right now to have agents investigate it because it's incredibly dangerous to be out under this storm right now, and a lot of the city is now hazardous as well, in whether it's through flames, smoke, or crumbling building. So we are currently trying to investigate. Most of our current efforts have been about resolving the problem, and then we can investigate the leads we have on who caused the problem.
And how are you trying to resolve this problem?
Right now, the headmistress, as well as the leader of the Conjuration sect, the council member, are coordinating with as many of our veteran and experienced Conjuration wizards as possible to work out closure rituals, dispelling rituals. We are communicating and coordinating with the other 8 towers to see if there are any artifacts or anything along those lines that can possibly resolve this problem or help in the resolution of this problem. It's not something that we're familiar with on a scale like this. We all know about various spells that can transport a person over distances. And we've even had some success with possibly creating some sort of communication lines between other places and a plane and us.
You'll be
Oh.
lost.
But yeah,
Reia.
we did.
Oh,
There
they're
they
back.
are. They're coming back. Hi, Reia. Maybe.
Yeah, give her a second.
Yeah, but yeah, we've had some success, but nothing obviously on this scale. Nor will we be so ridiculously reckless. There's Reia.
Oh my gosh, she's back.
Nothing so absurdly reckless as this. And
Okay,
so
I want
we are currently trying to
reports.
define it. Yes, of
I want
course.
the reports on those attempts of resolving it, including what you have communicated with the other towers, artifacts,
Mhm.
anything that you've mentioned. I want that. Also, why and how are you trying to communicate through to other planes? What is the purpose?
Give me a persuasion check, Higgs.
Yeah. That wasn't very good, was it?
not the greatest.
Although he's not trying to persuade, he's asking a question, but yeah.
Yeah, he's just asking. I'm more leading it as just like how much does Bradley how casual is Bradley with information with you? I would think that it would be fairly straightforward why we might be interested in the ability to communicate with some of the creatures that can invade them or have historically invaded the material space. I mean, certainly, I'm sure you're familiar with the stories of people summoning demons and devils and things like that. And we know that there are certain creatures that may not be from the material plane that occasionally appear here. And so it is our job to investigate the potentiality of being able to communicate with these spaces and learn other things. That's the entire point of the study of the arcane. So we are studying it. And very slowly and methodically trying to do this. That, gesturing outward at a dim window that you can't really see through, but out to the storm. That is exactly why we generally operate so cautiously, is because we know that can happen. And we didn't want that to happen. So we are currently trying to resolve it. I will give you the reports. I will admit to you, I will let you know in advance. Some of the aspects of the reports will be redacted as state private information. That is not a choice that I have or a choice that anyone here will have. That is the report that you will be given. It will be passed through our state security, who will redact certain aspects of it from you. But we will be as transparent as we possibly can within that boundary.
Yes, that would be in your best interest. But I have one more question for you.
Yes.
You are trying to make contact, communication with creatures not from this plane, correct? You've
Yes.
said, contact with devils and their likes, which I'm sure you know.
Preferably,
never
we
goes-
would not like to contact with demons or devils. That's not our primary interest. But we
Who
know
is your
that
primary
happens.
interest?
We would like to contact other planes with greater access to consistent and persistent forms of arcane energy. Right now, there can be very powerful wizards, there can be very powerful artifacts, there are very powerful lost things from the previous eras, but I'm sure you know there are both books and rumors about the magical abilities of eras past and lost information because of it. We've recovered much here in the Synod, but we continue to pursue it because we cannot move further as a population without understanding the mistakes of the past. Obviously, things went poorly before, so we are trying to very cautiously avoid that. And so if we can communicate with other planes, perhaps they may have some more knowledge. Certainly there's benefit to clerics and paladins who, I mean, in a wild speculation, I personally would love it if we could communicate with some sort of celestial or spiritual plane that has a deeper connection with the gods that we all worship. So,
Fair enough.
Some
Well, for the
wild amounts
greater
of
good of
benefits.
humanity, I guess.
Yes. Greater good of humanity, also for the safety of the material plane.
But
It's
since
better
you don't
to
know where
what's
this
coming.
portal goes, or what can come from it, rather.
Yeah, that's why we're working
You-
on communication first, and not. We're less concerned about being able to transport ourselves over in the moment, and more concerned about being able to just talk,
What about
open
the
up diplomatic
unseelie?
lines. Hmm?
What about the unseelie?
Give me an insight check.
Oh, Lord. I don't think my insight's very good. Oh, it was a +2, that's okay. Probably gonna roll shit. Yeah, we rolled shit again.
I have the unsealing. They think for a little bit, and they're like, I think that's a term. If I'm, forgive me, I might be mistaken. Is that a term for a group of extraplanar beings, like a group of fairy, if I recall correctly?
The Dark Fae, yes.
I don't have any knowledge on that whatsoever.
You don't, but maybe someone else in this tower does.
I mean, you can put in a formal. I can put in a formal request for you for either the headmistress of the conjuration school or the head council member of on the synod council to look into it or
Yes, I would like
give a
that.
response back. Yeah, I'm happy to add that into the report request.
Good. That'll do well. And he's just gonna kind of like look around the room and just see if like he could see like any book that's like, you know, looks like it's shouldn't be there, or a scroll that looks like it's been stuffed away. You know, that kind of like
Yeah.
odd shit.
Yeah, give me a perception check on that.
Please be better. Oh my
Please be
god. Well, it
better.
was gonna be a 14.
And it's a 6. Even with a 6, not there's not specific titles or anything. You don't have time to really stand up and go walk over to something, and everything. Or maybe you think better of it in the moment. Like, I probably shouldn't do that. Like right here, but I will say this. When you look around at some of the books and some of the information that you can catch with your eye, you've been around and you've known that the synod, the octatic synod, and specifically this area, is the most like up in the business of magic as possible. And this sort of confirms things. There are the occasional bit of language, the occasional bit of word that just really isn't anywhere in any books or recordings that you've run across in a drain, that is like, this feels a little bit more like, not quite to the same level or with the same topics, but some of this feels a bit more like they're a lot closer to, say, the knowledge that the Shadowfell would have, or that other planes would have, not the material plane. I can't give you more specifics on a 6.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
fine. I know
there's
exactly
something
what you mean.
hinky. It's a little bit more advanced than it should be here. It's sort of like going back, sort of like if you went back to like the 1960s and then you saw like a Walkman on a desk, and you'd be like, why do you have a cassette player? Like, we're on MP3s now, but why do you have a portable cassette player in the 1960s? That's not how this works.
Okay, yeah, he'd noticed that. But he wouldn't do anything about it now.
Yeah.
And then just like he'd stand up and then just ask like one more question and say,
Yeah.
where is your headmistress's office? Could you take me to it so I maybe know later if I have to meet with her or something of the likes?
if you have to meet with either the headmistress of the Conjuration School or the councilman of the Octanic Synod, council, and to be clear, just because I know that I'm from the northwest of the U.S., I'm saying councilman, like singular, not one of several councilmen. The councilman of the that represents the conjuration aspect of magic here at the synod. We they will summon you. As you might imagine, they're up top. They're at the very top. I don't mind telling you. They're at the top floor.
All right.
They
That's
get the
perfect,
top
that's
floor,
all.
right? They get the view.
Yeah, all
They
the
get
way at the
view.
top. It must be nice
Yeah.
being at the top of the hierarchy, isn't it?
It is. It would be nice, though. I wouldn't want to do it this. I'd be happy on like floor 7, 8, or 9. That top floor feels like a lot of stress. Plus, it's kind of if you get into that, then you're done. Like you've finished where you're going to go. You can't go anywhere else. You're kind of stuck. Like, why would you? What options would you have that would be so? Like, I kind of like, I like it. But yeah, top floor, top view would be nice. Would be real nice if they let the people down here that do, all the real work, like the laborious day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, and as he talks, he just kind of like pretend like sort of like usher him out the office, like yes, that's nice. I've kind of got the information I need. Let's go now. And he's gonna like note which floor and room exactly Bradley took him to. And then like he's like kind of like saying like in that body language like yeah, let's go, but
yeah.
please do
Yeah,
carry
and
on
that's-
speaking kind of thing. Like
Of course. Well, that's happening. Fang and Nhudrel. You are being escorted by a little halfling with blonde bangs, just an adorable short little person named Alice, and she kind of guides you back toward the back stairs, and you see the same sort of like stairwell kind of situation where it's almost like a typical stairwell shaft, but instead of it being super even and everything, where it's up and then immediately up, and then instead of it going up and then immediately up in diagonals, it goes up and then you have to kind of walk back and go up again, and then walk back and go up again. More like fire escape stairs are built, but along a curved wall. And then on either side of the things are there. But I need you to roll me a perception check, please. Both of you, both Nhudrel and Fang. Okay, it's not bad.
Oh. Ooh.
And that's even better. Maybe Fang catches the smell of it. Maybe Nhudrel just catches the color of it because it's not a particular, like there's not like a lot of interior plant decor. But the two of you, almost as you just get to the landing of the second floor and everything, both spy out of your eyes a 6-leaf green clover. Doesn't belong here.
6-leaf green clover.
So it's basically just kind of off to the side on the ground, on the landing portion of the second floor in the stairwell shaft.
Nhudrel's
Leading-
gonna stop dead in his tracks to pick it up. It's just like
Yeah, that's fine.
halfway
subtle.
through
Big enough.
interrogating this poor woman's like family
Mhm.
history, be like, and then stops and picks up a 6-leaf clover, and stands there dead still, talking to her about the 6-leaf clover. Like, do you know it is very rare? They say that it's the
Oh God,
4-leaf
Nhudrel,
clover that is
my
very
bad.
actually lucky, and blah 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 onwards and away. Literally just information about a 6-leaf clover that he actually doesn't know about it, but then he passes it to Fang.
Since you both see it, now both give me an insight check on it. Just to see you caught it, now do you understand it?
No.
Oh wow, my insight is. Oh, I do. A dirty 20.
Fang, the old nose, does it again. Smells like Yuri. Smells just like a hint of Yuri, and you notice that there's 6. And you know what, Fang? You're a simple person. 6 first thought, 6 clovers. Smells like Yuri. 6th floor. there's more than 10, there's more than 6 floors. And with a dirty 20, I'm just gonna give it to you. You know that this was a Yuri message to let you know that they're definitely on the 6th floor. They have not gone anywhere else other than the 6th floor. Why would they give you a 6-leaf clover to so clearly tell you, hey, I'm on the 6th floor secretly, if they were anywhere else? That would be wild.
It's a nature buddy understanding.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of a connective tissue nature understanding from a fey nature creature
Love it.
and a material plane nature creature.
Gorgeous.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The dice know the bond.
Mm-hmm.
Fang is gonna look over to Nhudrel, and then look at the clover, and then look up.
I rolled a nat.
What is
Try
it,
to,
girl?
non-verbally communicate. They need to go higher.
I'm gonna say you don't have to roll. I don't think you need to roll on Fang's communications.
Okay.
With you. You've traveled enough with Fang. Fang is telling you something important is up related to the clover.
In the middle of talking about the clover. Yes, you were going to show us more of the. Yeah, please have the leaf, and then passes the leaf to Alice.
Alice looks and she's like,
We are so doomed charisma-wise.
she goes, thank
Jesus,
you,
thank God
thank
for
you
him.
so much. Thank you so much for this wonderful little gift.
Tiny ass clover.
Yeah, well, she is. So this halfling is short for a halfling. So she's probably a solid 2.5 feet tall.
This
Looking
person
all the way up
is
at Nhudrel and Fang.
knee.
Yeah. Looking at the
Hunter
two
out the window.
tallest members.
Yeah, and then run to the 6th floor.
And everything. I need you. You've been talking, pontificating, arguably, on various subjects and interviewing Alice on various subjects. Nhudrel, can you roll a perception check for me? While she begins to escort you further up the stairs.
Wow. That's a
Fang, give me a perception check. Fang, also a perception check.
Oh
Wow. Okay.
Wow, we're in such hot water.
Fang,
We're actually being sold off too. That's we're
Nhudrel and
Don't worry,
Fang,
my rolls were shit too.
you're
And
being
mine.
led upward. You're being led upward. Through those areas, and Alice is like, oh, and this area here is the dormitories, and this area here is or this area here is the washrooms, and then you go up to the next floor and everything. And she's not leading you into the doorway. She's just sort of referencing where you think, and she kind of places her hand, I guess, on your calf. Nhudrel. That's where she is.
So funny.
Kind of the back of your knee calf kind of thing
The urge
and everything.
not to kick this person in the face.
And
Do it.
She smiles up to you. Where do you think your little green friend has gotten themselves to?
Died.
Because we can do a room by room search, or I can see if one of our scrying's divination. All right, I'm almost sure it's.
Come on,
Almost
Nhudrel,
sure
be
it's
charismatic.
I'm gonna try an insight check.
Yeah, it's divination. Or I can see if one of our friends in the divination tower can possibly help us out with the scry spell on them.
We don't want them to do that.
Come on, Nhudrel, just be charismatic and come up with something.
I mean, they offered a room by room. That might be
Charismatic.
safer.
With all of what is going downstairs, I feel you are perhaps a bit low on resources. I don't think it would be polite of us to ask help from even more people. Our friend, he is interesting, but he's ultimately harmless. I think if we just keep looking, we should find him. This structure of this building, it does not seem to be too complicated.
No, we made it simple on purpose. Well, I mean, twist my arm if I have to spend more time with such a such a interesting and learned
He's
guy.
gonna lick Nhudrel
gonna-
a knee before she.
I guess I'll just have
How
to
do you like
suffer
your
that.
blueberries in the morning? Right.
And this little 2.5 foot tall halfling woman that's like a third of Nhudrel's height just leaves her hand kind of gently resting on like it'll move off, and then she'll just basically, she's making excuses to kind of like touch you in the way. Fang, you don't even got to roll for it. Nhudrel, you unfortunately can't roll for shit.
I just
you
wanted
got a
to
3.
see something. I just wanted to see something. And honestly, there's tracks for.
Fang, it doesn't take you long because you're in these kind of closed spaces in this. This halfling is a little heated up, if you will.
And you should know that they're in heat.
Heat up of her.
Right.
Oh my god!
There's some pheromones.
Use it to your advantage! Quickly! Somebody go fetch X.
And as you see them, you can now see it's like, oh, they're attracted to Nhudrel. That's obvious. Now that you smell it, but Nhudrel doesn't seem to notice. They literally start taking you room by room. And each room, like a casual statement, like when they take you into the rooms into the baths, they're like, they make some double entendre about bathing. Clean, if you're feeling a little dirty, you can clean yourself off here. You can see
You
that
turn
the
around and
group
be like, "Oh, I
showers.
thought that smell was you."
And then
Really
it's
just shut
just
it down.
Nhudrel just going like, yes, the piping system is very, what's the word? Advanced.
Gonna lay some pipe, are you?
Nhudrel, this is all fine.
We are
but
great
really
at laying
insane.
pipe. We are great at laying pipe in these towers.
It's the dorms.
Yeah, but it is very dormitory, so it is group showers. Like the rooms are usually like 4 to 6 bunks,
I would like to
kind of
take,
thing. It is very like dormitory / almost monastery kind
I
of
would
structure.
like to take this the time to just say that while they're walking and stuff, because Nhudrel has such a long stride, he's actually pacing himself so that he's like, just doesn't have to
Oh man,
like.
make the bitch run so that she collapses out of breath, and then you can just go do your own shit.
We're not
Yeah.
talking about Hicks.
Look, I'm just gonna shove her down the stairs if she comes to me.
Oh, good lord. And we're not talking about Yuri. So yeah, Nhudrel's just literally gonna pace himself so that she doesn't need to jog to keep up with them. And he is absolutely listening to every single thing that she's saying, even though they're just like brief things, like, and always be like, so this is where the dormitories are. It looks wonderful. This must be where you stay. Blah 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 blah.
He's gonna be sniff checking every room they go into.
He is.
Yeah, Fang, you're not smelling
interested.
anything that shouldn't be around, kind of thing. Just to let you know.
He's genuinely interested because he wants to know, like, oh, how does life here compare to where he came from before? Like, this is something that interests him.
What were you gonna say, Reia?
Distracted enough for Fang to like slowly back away and go to the 6th floor.
Nhudrel's probably.
You can stealth check it.
We're gonna want 7 nearly 8-foot woman to do a stealth check.
Fang, you can stealth check it.
There's a halfling in heat for Nhudrel. I might have a
but-
chance.
Fang is light on her feet, so.
Nope. Not long enough.
Oh,
So this doesn't play out like that. You're thinking about doing this, and you're ready to do it, and you're prepared. You're waiting for her to fully ignore you again for a few minutes while Nhudrel compliments something about that, and everything, and then you get to the commissary and the kitchens, Fang, and your brain of stealthing away. This is on the like 4th floor. Your brain stealths fully. That good idea evaporates. You have never seen just rows, like cabinets of food. Obviously, closets that have like temperature controlled spaces for salting and preserving meats and doing that. You can smell fresh, like fresh harvested herbs everywhere. This is a kitchen and commissary meant to feed, probably 150 people very well. 150, 200 people extremely well. The smells it's so appointed with every kind of pan and pot size. This is a chef's dream. And you can see that there are currently cook staff actively preparing meals in this place. What does Fang do upon Dreamland Commissary?
She like juxtaposition into there.
Do you just wander in and start looking around at things?
Yes.
No one stops you. Strangely enough, nobody's in like they're all in their uniforms for things, but it's not like there's they're not in like chef's hats and aprons and stuff like that. It seems like and no one stops you, and you do see a couple people glance at Alice's way, and Alice just kind of shakes her head and then goes back to paying attention aggressively to Nhudrel. And so no one stops you. There's so much food in here. There's so much food. There's potatoes. There's all kinds of vegetables in there. There's also currently a kind of a sitting sort of, essentially, for lack of a better term, a little bit of a buffet of food that like does well just sort of sitting out in open air for like a day. So like breads and butters and jams and stuff like that, grain cereal and things like that, as well as different fruits and vegetables that you can just pick up and eat. Some dried salted meats and stuff, and that's just sitting there, and you see students just go there and like take a bowl and fill it with some stuff and just eat it and everything. This must be a 24-hour kitchen. It must be a kitchen where something's always being made at all times.
She's gonna observe them making things. To see if she can pick up on recipes and techniques.
Give me a perception check with advantage because it's food related.
Oh, I rolled so bad.
It takes you a while, to the point where, Fang, unbeknownst to you, your plan of breaking away has worked because Alice sees that you're fully distracted and an opportunity to get Nhudrel one-on-one, and goes,
save me,
if your friend is good here, we're happy to let your friend study our cooking techniques, and we can continue to search for your other green friend. To Nhudrel.
I'm aware. I'm just Nhudrel would not know any of
But Nhudrel
this.
caught the non-verbal communications earlier that Yuri's on the 6th floor, right?
6th floor. Mm-hmm.
Looks at Fang. Fang really looks like she's enjoying herself. Okay. Yes, of course, if that is okay with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Nhudrel and Alice step off into some other rooms to tour them. Fang is currently in the kitchen area, observing that. And Alice goes, so Nhudrel, is that your first name? Your last name?
Nhudrel, yes, that is my name, my first name.
Your first name?
Yes.
Is there... you've asked me so many things about me. Where are you from? You have any family?
You got a wife?
Is there a Mrs. Neutral or a Mr. Neutral
Did
You
or
laid your
mixes
spawn
neutral?
someone?
she ask that?
No, family is how she put it.
Well, yes, I have parents.
Should hope so.
Siblings, kids, a wife.
One
Husband.
second. I do not have children. No. And I am not married.
No, you are not.
Are you sure Nhudrel doesn't have a -2 in charisma?
He's quizzing up a halfling.
He's
Just, I mean,
You
Neutral
knew
does
that all
have
you
an
needed
8.
was like a 2 in charisma and Chum
Neutral
off.
does have an 8 in charisma, so no riz
so I was right.
whatsoever.
pretty close.
So -1 in charisma
yeah.
for Neutral. So
uh,
no riz whatsoever, but he's still a tall, handsome blue man.
I have my father. I have my mother. No siblings and no spouse. I suppose that must seem quite boring to you.
Oh, the contrary. And her face lights up when you say no spouse and everything. And we don't often get visitors who can talk, who can speak to the level that a lot of people in the tower and the towers speak to. And you know, I'm shocked myself that you don't have anyone anyone back home waiting for you, like a spouse or a girlfriend or a boyfriend I don't want to presume.
Well, I suppose there might be someone if he is still waiting for me back home.
I dropped him the gay
but
card.
Well,
I don't know if we did not part in the best of terms.
well, there might be someone waiting. There might be someone who nobody has to wait for as long. And she just sort of like continues that conversation as now and like the whole time, like it's got to be strange. It's got to be the strangest as a person
still
in
touching
this
my leg?
world.
Is she still touching my
Yeah,
leg?
she's still absolutely
Okay,
touching
I think
your leg.
at this point, Nhudrel is just gonna look behind, like where her hand is touching. Do I have something on my pants? Just like,
What?
I mean-
why do
My
you
god, he's
Oh.
so dumb.
Do we need to? You know what? She goes,
What?
you might. We can get those laundered for you if
Oh,
you need
Christ,
to.
Stop
change
Stop
out.
it.
it! No! Oh my god. Right.
God.
Right. Okay.
Never leave Nhudrel on his own.
And we're gonna fade away from this scene.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Jesus
god,
Christ.
we're trying to save the world. Why are you banging a
You're
halfling?
gonna get a fucking handy in the laundromat.
It's gonna take him by surprise if that does happen.
We're gonna
Everyone's
cut
like,
away
oh,
from
so
this
I'm
scene.
getting information.
Just don't have
Like,
to
Yuri's
work
gonna
for
go
it.
be doing Yuri things, Fang's like in the kitchen, Hicks is getting fancy information, and Nhudrel's just like, yes, hand job, let's go.
It's not
Yeah.
just.
And we're all gonna reconvene and be like, so what did you learn? And Nhudrel's just like,
My pants are now very clean. Just slightly traumatized.
Well, that side of the pants are clean. The other side, fucking mess.
Mess.
Messy.
Back to Yuri.
It's me.
Yuri, give me a stealth with advantage. I want to see if you can get all the way to the top floor.
17.
Okay, I'm gonna roll on this one because that beats passive, but there's other things. So we're just gonna do a flat roll off of Nhudrel sheet this time because that's the one I'm on. Oh, that's a natural 3. That ain't doing anything. That ain't doing anything. So yeah. I would say when you get to floor 8, 9, and the top floor, I'm gonna give you kind of what all of these are so that you can, Sam, define where Yuri cares about the most. Eighth floor. Eighth floor, objects that don't belong on the material plane. Ninth floor, things that are definitely cursed, but don't necessarily that aren't on the that aren't unnatural to this plane. So they're magic. They're definitely cursed. They might even have curses that come from other planar creatures, like demonic curses or things like that. But they are from this plane, but they are wildly cursed, like toxic. It's almost nauseating. Not like and everything. So 8th floor, objects that are not from this plane. 9th floor, cursed objects. 10th floor, the main offices of the most important people here, and you can clearly tell that from signage. So people of importance, cursed objects, other planar objects, or magical effects and things like that. What would Yuri care about the most here?
Sorry, I went so deep into thinking that I actually forgot one of them. Because I was starting to debate options, and then my brain just completely blocked out the rest of the words.
8th floor,
which
floor,
you
other
said one
planar.
with people. What was the bit with people?
That's the 10th
important
floor,
people.
and that's definitely the most important people in the building.
That's where the like councilwoman and all the.
Oh, but they're
Yeah, that's
likely
where-
in there, right?
What?
They're likely in there.
Yeah, they're there. Yeah. You suspect that they're there. I'm going to say you have enough time to recon that it's pretty obvious that there's maybe you're in the floor beneath them and you can kind of hear them. Whereas you go outside the door.
I don't know if this is cheeky to ask, but can I feel anything that feels like it would come from the Feywild? Like, just in the
On
direction
the 8th floor,
of-
yes, you can.
And that's the things that don't belong.
Yeah, things that don't belong here. They're not cursed, but they are not from this plane, and you can definitely feel some things from the Feywild here.
Okay. Yeah, I will go in there. I think there would kind of be like, it's kind of, I guess, more of a thematic thing. But it's kind of like, I think once Yuri kind of has that moment of being like alone as he's about to go into that room, I think there's kind of like, as he kind of picks up the sense of like home, almost like the performance kind of breaks. As like, I think does it seem like there's anyone in there?
In the thing, yes, yeah, there are definitely people on each floor.
Okay.
But the important people are on the very top floor. Definitely, these are things where there are absolutely people on every layer of every important room, and you can hear them through the door. They're like talking. They're not like it's not like there are guards positioned outside doors or anything like that. But
Okay. Yeah, I think you'd kind of just take a breath outside. Like, just like now no one's looking at him because he's been like even surrounded by the other people for quite a while, and just kind of take a deep breath. I think he would just very quietly just start to walk in, but he looks much more subdued now he's not around his friends that he's always kind of performing around. Like he's a little bit moth drawn to a flame, just quietly trying to figure out where it is.
Are you in your natural form?
No.
Your green form? No? Okay.
He will just be like, he'll be in like one of the agent outfits, but I feel like he kind of looks like a very tired, hungover agent who wants to be left alone and has like the glasses on or something.
Yeah. You go into the kind of room. What you see here is almost. It's like a dense museum. It's somewhere between a dense museum and a catalog of like almost like an evidence room. Somewhere in between those, everything is displayed and individualized and very much like kept to its own shelf or pedestal or some such. But it's denser than you'd have a museum display where people are supposed to like walk around and like look at these things as visitors. Right. This is much more of like a well cataloged but individualized room. Of what you see. This room takes up the whole, so you can see the whole circle of the floor. There's nothing else on the 8th floor but this this room. There you can see that the door you went into, and then the other door on the other side of the like stairwell shaft way are on the other side of this floor's landing. They both go into this room, and what you see in it is just about maybe like a half dozen or more, maybe 6 or 8 sort of different people like you dressed in robes, sort of currently cataloging and writing in notes on things and kind of eyeballing and studying different objects. And when I say that this room is filled with objects that don't belong on this plane, I am not only talking about inert objects. You can see a fist-sized little what looks like a miniature beholder, like in like a kind of a like a force field, almost in like a magical encasement that's just sort of hovering there, blinking its little eyes. It's about the size of a fist, much smaller than a beholder. You see like things with like demonic writing on them, things with divine and celestial writing on them, runes carved into them. You see a broken shaft of a spear. You see all different kinds of things. I assume Yuri cares most about the things from the Fey realm.
Yes, I would say Feywild comes first. There is other stuff he'd look for, but I would say Feywild comes first.
I'm going to give you a thing that you definitely see no matter what, and then there's going to be sort of like a role that you can try and justify whatever skill on to see if you get something bigger or more grand or more important than this. But the first thing that you spot from the Fey realm, and you'll have to forgive me, Sam, I cannot remember which of Yuri's family members. One of them loves the hunt, right? Is it the grandfather or the father?
My father, he's the military man.
Yep. You see and you recognize it. It is whether it's a replica of or maybe a version of, there is an absolute horn that is ever so slightly chipped, which shouldn't be able to happen. Probably means it happened here and not there. That you know is your dad's, sitting on a pedestal right there, fully in view in the material plane. You know, it looks old. It looks much old. When you, in your memory, this is a fresh, shiny, beautiful thing. This is something that has like the latent power of the Fey realm, but has obviously been in the material plane for a long time. And it is just a perfect, exact image of this kind of beautiful sort of like, almost like somewhere between a ram and like somewhere around the size ram's horn, but if a ram was like, you know, the size of a bison, right? Like just a massive horn, and everything. And you recognize it, and you have memory of it being one of several horns that your father has access to, and everything. And it's right there, sitting on that pedestal, just like it was any other magic item.
Did my father ever mention a horn going missing?
No, but it's not necessarily something. So give me a good old fashioned. What's a good stat for Yuri that would make sense in this context? I want it to be something that you can have a pretty high. Give me a good old fashioned. Just give me a charisma check. That's kind of what your magic is based off of, what your identity and you as a Fey are based on. So just a flat check with a plus 5 bonus. Nat 20. Thank fucking God. You know that time doesn't work between the Fey realm and the material plane, right?
Yeah.
Which means that your father, when you left, may not have yet lost this horn. And just because he lost it after you left doesn't mean it appears in the material plane after or after you arrive. And so I will say with a nat 20, you are A, confident that no, this was not a lost object when you left. B, confident that it appeared in the material plane well before you ever appeared in the material plane.
But I
and
know
C,
it still
because
could have happened after Aye.
Yeah, and it could have happened after. But more importantly, it shouldn't have happened, right? It does mean that there's something concerning, whether in the now for you or in the future kind of thing. But um, more importantly, if this happened, something made it happen.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you only know one group of people that would love to see your dad lose like a kind of an iconic trinket like this. Because it is, in its own way, it is a trinket. Like it is a symbol more than it's a your father can just have something like this if he wants to make that happen. But there's a symbol. There's a, much like almost everything in the Fey realm. There's a greater meaning behind it than it just being like it's a form that does this. It's a thing that does this utility. There's history behind it. There's meaning behind it, and so obviously this was deliberately. It must have been taken from him or absconded when he didn't notice, and it must have been moved into the material plane on purpose.
And when you say of the hunt, I'm guessing it's the verdant hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is anyone stood close to it?
Right now, no one's particularly interested in it.
Is there like a plaque, or do they have like information sheets? If it's like kind
They
of
do
near-
have information sheets on it.
Yeah, I'll walk over.
Walk over, take a look. It just simply says extraplanar horn, magic qualities unknown, non-material plane, and then it gives a year. And I don't do years in the things because inevitably they're numbers everyone forgets. It's been here for about 275 years. Almost 3 centuries, just shy of 3 centuries. And you would know that. Someone would have told you it's like there. And so it's not so old that it's from a previous era. Previous like cycle of the material plane, which is always a little hazy to you because you're never 100% sure. But you know that the eras are longer than a few hundred years, and everything, and so you can guess that it's like okay, so it's from the now as far as the like current era is, and you would know that it's probably a few hundred. I would say that Yuri would have had some level of education. It's like the material plane's time kind of works like this, and they use these terms for things, and so you would kind of have a vague memory of it's like, oh yeah, they do use centuries like that and everything. Okay, this is roughly around that.
As I'm close enough, is it possible to tell if it's a replica or if it's the real thing? Because you said it might be.
Yeah, give me a. You would have to give me either without touching it, you'd have to give me an Arcana or an Investigation check, which are both +0 for you. So it's basically the same
give
thing.
it a go. That's a 2.
You don't know if you do know this though. While you're near it, if it's a replica, it's a Fey-made replica, because there's definitely Feywild energy on this thing. So if it's a replica, it's someone in the Feywild that made it as a replica. And then brought it to here. So it's definitely from the Feywild, and it definitely is there.
Given the fact, how to say, given the fact of like, how to say, the nature of the hunt, would it be actually like almost a heresy to make a replica?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It would be a deliberately monstrous thing.
Okay.
It would be a deep offense to most members of the Feywild.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think like Yuri's, like in the best way to describe, I feel like it's kind of like almost going to that early stage of a panic attack, where like he's kind of starting to feel his head spin, as he kind of just takes a step back and breathes for a moment. And he's just kind of like, I think he'd first and foremost actually start to look for like anything else other than that horn that may hint to like these things have arrived at the same time, or he's just looking for anything. He's basically like doing that very like, oh my god, I need to find something that makes sense of what the fuck I'm seeing. And panic.
Yeah, give me a. What do I want to give you for this? Because you have an okay insight modifier. Give me an insight check as you're looking, because this is just you looking around and making judgment calls, and there's sheets on things, so you can methodically go and read stuff. A 9. The only thing that you get that's around that time frame, and I'm not going to connect any other strings for this, but you do eventually find something around the same several hundred years ago. You see that there is a circlet that's a little bit that's tarnished. It's a little bit broken. It's the kind of circlet that you'd place upon your head and everything.
Does it look like mine?
No, it does not look like yours.
Okay.
I'm not doing that to you.
No, I didn't mean mine, but like my family circlet.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like anything. This is not from the Feywild. This is from the Hells. It is a devilish in nature, infernal thing. And it comes from exactly the same time frame, a little bit under 300 years ago. They also don't know what it does because it is broken. But you can feel the infernal energy coming from it, and that would be the only other object that's like close in time range. And when I say close, I mean like they estimate it to be about the same period of time, and everything. And the only other thing that I'll give you, because I've mentioned that you kind of naturally sense this, obviously the horn, obviously this infernal item, that's what this is for, this area is for, not from this material plane. The infernal item has a conjuration energy to it that's like almost dormant, not enough to like conjuration in that. So the infernal item may have been used for planar travel.
Okay.
So yeah, with a 9, that's as much as I'm going to give you. But like that you do find a thing that might relate to it.
Okay. Yuri is going to just try to take a deep breath, and he's trying to act calm, but it's almost more like he doesn't have it in him to perform.
Yeah.
And he's just going to go up to one of the people. He'll put on a fake voice still and just kind of like ask, like, could you remind me? I'm doing my notes for a project. Could you remind me what the story is about the horn? Do you have it? Do you know?
One of the other students, who also kind of looks like they're a little hungover. One of the other like administrators also
it's been a long
they're
week.
exhausted. Yeah, it's been a real long week. That one. Oh yeah. The horn. The horn seems to be like a. It's not quite a spirit magic, but it's something kind of close to it. We obtained it from one of the wealthy houses that had traded it from one of the places from across the Wounded Sea. It's. Oh yeah. So they tried to activate it, and that's why it has a chip on it. So it was fine. It was fine, and it had some like a good amount of magical energy left, and then they tried to imbue it with a teleportation to see if it would just activate. It seemed to do something, and they thought that it might be like a artifact of travel of some sorts. And so they tried to imbue it with a teleportation thing, and it was rejected. And so now it's just being cataloged here, and it chipped the horn. So they cataloged it here, and then we're just looking for if there's any similar items with similar magic, like attunement, and energies that kind of go with it, and maybe we can get some more. But unfortunately, we only have this. We have a couple other items that kind of have that, but they're from like wildly different, like they're not significant. Most of them are illusory, and they're like music boxes and things like that, right? Like little trinkets. And
Yeah.
so we haven't found anything in the same category. But yeah.
Wait, music boxes?
Yeah, there's a music box over there, and then it's got like a little like little dancing satyr in it, that like you wind it up and it plays, and then the satyr sort of projects above it and dances around. It's a cute little item, but we haven't found any actual functional use. It's got a similar energy to it.
What does the satyr look like?
It's right over there if you want here, and walks over and like traces like a little rune into the kind of side of the pedestal that's on. Give me a perception check as they trace that rune.
22.
Amazing. You watch them deactivate the security around this thing, and the little field comes off of it, and they pick it up and they wind it up for you. And then from the top of this little like mechanical music box, it's like a little silvery inlaid mechanical music box, a little projection of a little satyr that just sort of dances. And you immediately know that that is not like a specific satyr; it's just a satyr,
Okay.
right? It's like a visual representation of one.
How many people are in this room?
There are 7 currently, not including you.
Fuck. Okay. Can I just go up and look at it? Do I know what this is? Do I?
It's the kind of thing that you would see anywhere in the Feywild.
It's just like a normal little
It's
like.
a bauble. It's a bauble. That's what it is. It's a knickknack. It's pretty. It's well made, but it's not surprising. It's from the Feywild. Anyone that would craft something that people would have or this, and it just looks like this is the kind of thing that someone would drop and forget in your home. Kind of thing. And so like this is the kind of thing that would be if someone was like moving, they would put it in a box and forget about it. It's simply that the song itself is not even a particularly like special song. It's like a little nursery rhyme, and everything. This music box, it's not nothing in the way that it is from your home, but you know that Fae have traveled to the material plane before. This is probably just a left behind item.
Okay. Right. I think Yama looks very kind of shocked and kind of overwhelmed, probably pale as the disguise is.
Mm.
But which will work well as being sleepy. Not sleepy, ill. I think Yuri would keep looking back to the horn.
You wanna? Are you trying to get at that horn? I assume.
Yes.
Give me another insight check, Yuri. I'm gonna let you roll dice about this a little bit.
23.
Beautiful. There's 7 people in here, and nobody in here is particularly hardy, or as we would put it mechanically, nobody has very high hit points in here. But 7's a little too much for a sleep spell. Yeah, I felt that instinct. 7's too much, but they all look exhausted. They all look tired, and you know the layout of the things. You might be able to. None of these people look like super important, or even like they're not uninterested in their work, but they are, belabored. It's been fucking days of this goddamn storm problem and everything. You might be able to convince some of them that you might be able to lie to some of these people. You might be able to convince some of them to get out of this room. There's options here. This is not a room of dedicated scholars that would starve themselves to death. This is a room of employees and students that are tired.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the most tired looking student.
Yeah. There's someone who's literally drifting off where they're standing.
God, this is gonna go. Wait, I have to read something. Right. I'll kind of go over and go. Hey, are you okay? Do you need some rest?
I mean, I could really use it, but we got this storm going. Oh God, I miss sleep.
I'm thinking how to word this. Sorry. Can. Oh no, this is a bad idea, but I kind of like it.
Oh,
Shit. With because it's just a little diddy music box. Do you think it's possible because like with like prestige or something, you can do like a very small puff of wind? Is it possible just to jostle the music box enough to make that kind of music start to?
Mhm.
With just like a
Yeah.
little bit, and they were just gonna go, well, you know, you can't do a good job with your like, what's the word? Tired. There we go. I have been up for a long time today, since 6 a.m. It is now 11. I'm fine to keep going.
oh no.
My brain is also tired.
Are you okay?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I got day off work tomorrow. But he would kind of try and take his hands very gently and go, why don't you rest? And then Yuri's gonna activate the music box, and I'm gonna start doing my enthralling performance as like I would say kind of that terrifyingly beautiful, like old Disney lullaby,
Yep.
as he would start to sing like that very old Disney Once Upon a Dream.
That Disney lullaby that borders on like classic German fairy tale energy. It's like
Yeah,
this is both comforting and unsettling at the same
and like
time.
whilst it only can affect 5, I imagine like there would still be the sound of it. Like it's like I'm trying to get that enthralling, but it's more the fact that I'm still just trying to lull everyone to sleep in a normal way,
okay. So I am
or at
going
least
to
get them
say
sleepy.
and get them sleepy. I'm going to say this in the order of appropriate timeliness for us to clear the session, and because I love this, and I love that you were thinking sleep spell, and I was already thinking tired student days of not sleeping. I'm going to say this: if you burn a sleep spell slot at first level, and do this, I'm going to have you roll a performance check with advantage.
Okay.
And if you get over the DC, everybody just goes to like they either wander out to go to sleep or they go to sleep right where they are. That's dealer's choice, your choice, our player's choice. And so
As
give
a
me that
range of
performance
sleep,
with an
if
advantage.
19, it's wait, no, it's 20 foot. Because it's 20 foot and it's a 20-foot sphere, would this mean technically like if people were beneath me? This is more just flavor of like if there was a room beneath me, would
Yeah, you
technically
might
people can
accidentally
hear it,
catch.
fall asleep, as same
You
as
might
above.
accidentally catch some people below you, not above. Above is actually pretty sealed up and
Okay.
protected, but below, yeah, seventh
Okay.
floor, yeah.
Because I kind of like the idea of like if anyone was probably still in the hallway, not falling asleep, but I mean more the essence of they'd
Yeah.
probably hear the lullaby or at least the music box, which
And
is
then be like, I'm
terrifying.
tired, and then go
Especially
crash.
with like the storm going outside and then it's all instead peaceful with the lullaby while you're seeing cracking lightning. Ah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
So give me that performance with advantage.
Oh, watch me roll fucking dog shite. 21. It's
Nice.
fine.
21 does it. That's more than enough with burning a spell slot, utilizing this already existing magic item, and taking advantage of an already heavy instinct in the room, which is everybody's tired. Do you want them to fall asleep where they're at, or do you want them to kind of all just get the instinct that they need to go and rest?
I imagine it's more Yuri. This is like Yuri's taking a strangely gentle approach, kind of almost sorrowful. I imagine actually as he starts to sing, his disguise fades. But kind of like because people are drowsy, he's almost acting like that kind of like dreamy figure. And I imagine he kind of one by one takes their hands and just slowly guides them together until almost like a cuddly pile. And like he's like slowly nurturing them to sleep like a mother. Almost.
Yeah, the last one that you bring to this kind of sleep pile is like, you seem awake. You can make sure everything in here is good. As they kind of just gently go. So like their dream sleepy logic is like, oh, there's someone watching things. I can nap, and everything. And yeah, all 7 people all 7 students and administrators just sort of in a cuddle puddle on the floor drift off.
Did you
into a
say
deep sleep.
administrators?
Yeah, there's students and administrators. Yeah.
Because am I gonna guess because like this was a weird mix, and also because they are fucking tired? Is it more likely that they're not gonna wake up directly after a minute, or is this like
These people are, unless you physically aggressively jostle any of them or make the biggest loudest noise, these people have been, this is the same sort of level of dropping into deep sleep of a person that's been up for 72 hours. They're hard to wake up naturally, and you've added a bit of magic to this. These people, if left undisturbed, will sleep a full 8 hours.
Oh,
They're so desperate for
if there's any
sleep, I think.
blankets or pillows around, Yuri would fully take the time to tuck them in. I'm just putting
Oh,
that out.
Yeah.
But like,
But
it
you
is
are
very
confident
much-
they are like down into the deepest, like the deepest REM sleep, even potentially below that, to where their brains are so unconscious that they're
a little
not
bit like
dreaming.
what he gave to the group when they woke up feeling more
Yeah, feeling
well
more
slept
rested.
than before. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I think as Yuri walks around, he actually never stops the lullaby. Though still spring, but I will say he kind of like, it's probably that very surreal, weird thing of he almost skips in slow motion as he works around. Like, it's very on point ballet at this point as he walks around the room, with like his eyes have iced over, and he has these little small icicles forming around his eyes, and small 2 rivers of watery streams
Mhm.
flowing down his face. He's
Aw.
still spring for now, but it does seem like winter is potentially approaching. As he will start to attempt to copy the rune to unlock the horn.
You do. It's the same rune for everything, and you unlock the horn. But we're gonna pause on Yuri here because there's other things in the room, and you may make some other choices.
Could I do
now that...
one?
Oh
potential
yeah, you
thing?
can do one thing. Yeah.
I would like to minor illusion. Gonna kill me for this, but I feel like it's the only way that could potentially alert Hicks to something deeper. Is like, as he's kind of about to take the horn, he will like spread his hand, and outside in like the little spiral staircase going down, the sound of a distressed raven will echo.
Oh, very good, very good. We are going
And he's not
to
trying to do that to scare him, just to point out. He's trying to be like, help.
I'm doing stuff. Could you back up here? We're going to do some brief cuts because we're already at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, which is like 11:30 to midnight 30 some people's time. So we're doing stuff. So I'm gonna give you the kind of brief synopses of where you're all in this moment. Nhudrel.
He is totally fine having a normal moment.
You
Making choices.
get brought into a room that looks more like a private bed quarter.
Oh, is that
And,
where I am?
Yeah,
Is-
yeah.
I was
You
not
get on
aware.
this tour,
Oh my-
on this thing, by Alice, and Alice kind of closes the door behind you, which she's done a number of times. He opens the door, closes the door, and
Good
everything.
luck, my guy.
And it's like,
Help.
My God.
and Alice just goes, it's been a rough few days, and I was hoping maybe, I know you had to brave getting here physically, and I know that there was some lightning. I do have some healing potions, but
No.
maybe we should take a brief moment to relax.
There
as
is
well.
suppository.
They actually Oh no!
We're not
Noodle,
gonna let you
you
respond.
gotta make
We're not gonna-
sacrifices for the party, my guy.
We're not going to let you respond. We're going to cut over to Fang.
Oh, that's
Fang, you spend several minutes in here kind of observing things, and then maybe eventually your brain creeps in. Oh yeah, the 6th floor. I'm supposed to go up to the 6th floor. 6th floor. You, like Yuri before you, on exiting the kitchen, which everyone was fine with you rummaging around and stuff like that. They were all fine with you observing. You go up to the 6th floor. You just like Yuri before you, find a door that leads to a hallway to someone giving a lecture. But at this point, the lecture has progressed, and there's students talking. And Fang, you can't see it. There's kind of a hallway that clearly opens up, kind of curves around and opens up into a lecture room. So unless you go in down the hall and into the room, you can't see it, but you can hear. And more importantly, you can kind of smell, too, this. Something familiar in the mix. And you hear the native tongue of the people that raised you being spoken by a single voice in that room, asking a question. How do I modify?
What the fuck is going on?
How do I
Nhudrel's getting
modify?
banged. Fang's found her family. Yuri's found
do I-
I don't know what.
My dad.
Your dad.
He's in a horn.
How do I find a how do I find the appropriate degree of which to infuse the sort of temporal energy to make sure that the communication, it's a very complicated question, all about magic in the tongue of the people that raised you. And you hear that. You can't see, but you hear that. I'm not letting you respond. We're cutting to Hicks. This is the leave-off moment. Hicks.
Please just let me be walking up the stairs in peace.
No.
Hicks.
Raven smacks you in the face.
Two things happen. You're waiting for this report to come to you. And I need you're the only one who gets to roll on this one. I need you to roll a perception check with advantage.
Well, my
'Cause
rolls haven't been
your
very
eyes out.
good.
I know. But I'm going to give you a perception check with advantage on this one.
Okay, it's fine.
That's good.
Your
That's,
21.
that's,
was a one.
that's a,
we
was a one.
won't look at that one. Though. We're looking at the other one.
It wanted you to fail. So you, with a 21, you only see someone out of place as they're leaving up the stairs. You see sort of like a kind of a dark cloak. No one in here. They all wear robes, but they don't wear like cloaks with like hoods over them. But you see a dark cloak. You get a sense of it.
You guys can do this on your own. I'm leaving.
and going up the stairs. And when you look at that and then turn back to look at the desk while you're waiting to get the report, Bradley has stepped away for a little bit to look into something else and to help get these files to you. And when you turn to the desk, you see a single raven feather sitting on the desk in front of you, Hicks. And more importantly, at the same time, though unrelated to what I had planned for the leave-off for this, you hear a raven caw in the direction of the stairwell. And with that, because we are at 3:30 Pacific time, I am going to close this session of Healing Rifts. Welcome to Fun Conjuration Administration Building Tower. Thank you so much, wonderful players. I'll even do the exits for you.
You motherfucker.
At Nakama Cosplay for finding excellent cosplay from our wonderful player Yama. Of course, at Meister Hypester for all Twitch enjoyment, also in Beggar Street. And you can find their socials across the internets, TikToks and Instas and stuff. At Reia.Rika for Instagram and TikTok for Reia, and I myself am at Dying of Exposure. Don't look for Sam on the internet. This is where you will find.
Sam.
That's it. You'll find Sam here. I believe
Sam's
under the captions for the YouTube videos.
Are only here.
I believe the YouTube captions literally say Yuri played by Sam, and then in the parentheses for social media, it just says social media redacted, and that is the accurate.
Leave me alone.
But nonetheless, this is where we leave off. We will be back next week at this time to continue this. Remember to check out the Meister Hypster's YouTube for the back episodes finally being uploaded there so that you are able to enjoy the journey, including the episodes that you missed about the travel from essentially Southgate to this point. There's some real fun roleplay moments and me desperately trying to figure out how to play people's characters that couldn't make it in those times. But nonetheless, you all have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for playing with me, and goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, see you in a few at Bigger Street. We are going to raid Nicholas
Yeah.
Vange, who is a South African gamer. He's currently playing with Androva ZA and Rashkag, who are massive. Ooh, game streamers. Wow, that hurt. And we're gonna raid now. I've got nothing else to say. I love you. Bye.